So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the day 3 training program of ours. I believe everybody settled down and good to go. My audio is reaching. Can somebody gives me a heads up?
Yes, Prabhas.
Thank you so much. So before starting our day 3 training program, is there any doubt or queries on during the practice you have got something that you did not get it? Hope you have gone through the recordings and practiced well, because that is very much essential. As I told you, do not miss the things. Good, very good. Fine then. Very good. So as we decided, let's go and begin with our session with the topic naming called data summarization and analysis. So in day one, we discussed so many formula functions and how to present our data effectively, how to do the value additions to the data, and how to do the data mining with the help of different types of filters, and what is the usage of the format as table option. Those things we have explored. Day two, we have also discussed how to handle the errors when you download the data from SAP or ERP system. We have explored a tool called artificial intelligence tool of Microsoft Excel naming called Flashfill, keyboard shortcut Control E. Then we have also seen how to use as slicers in our common table data by simply converting the data into table. And finally, we have ended up with the different styles of data visualization. We have the tools like our spark lines, data bars, icon sets, all those things we discussed in our day two. All right. So day three, now we are going to start with when you receive a huge data, how to read your data properly, how to present it effectively, whoever the target audience, whatever they want, how to present it in a precise way. That's what our agenda now in day three. So kindly go to our sample case studies folder. The file name is called data analysis. So today we are going to start with the file name called data analysis. So kindly open that. So you'll be finding this kind of data, something will be there, a huge data, a comprehensive data over here. So please confirm you got the same sheet open on your respective screens. Drop me a quick message, Y for yes in the chat box.
Yes.
Thank you so much. How about the other friends, people? Could you please help me quickly? Yep.
Yes, I got the data.
Great. All right then. So now let me first give you a background story of this data so that everybody can connect with it, and what is the objective. We'll be discussing that also, and how to work around that we are going to begin after that. So take an example. Suppose we are working with an organization called Tata Motors. Assume the company name. Why I'm taking the example of Tata Motors? Because our products are related to Tata Motors products. So we have a plant in Pune and different cities also, of course, Jamshedpur. But Pune is having a car plant. So like Tata Tigger, Chest, Bolt, and this next one, all these things is being produced in Pune plant. Okay. Now suppose say morning 9 o'clock, I came to office. My boss immediately called me. Prabhas, please come to my cabin. I need to discuss something with you. I went in. Immediately he started saying, Prabhas, I was going through the reports and I don't find the quality of information. It seems as if just ready-made numbers we are downloading from SAP or ERP and we are presenting to our management. And in fact, last month when there was a meeting, management committee meeting, I was there and I could feel that, I could sense that nobody in the meeting room were happy with our reports. So let's do something different this time. This is what my boss started. Okay, so what he's up to now? He told me, Pravas, get me last 3 years revenue data from SAP or ERP. Please download the data for me. Okay, I downloaded, giving the respective T codes in our SAP system. I download this report or data over here. So near about 1 lakh line item data for last 3 years, it has been generated like this. So how is the data? Like you can see name of customer is there. These are the different product categories we produce the cars, and these are the car names, models you can say. And salesman name is also there, who is actually technically helping us to generate the revenue. These are the different regions we export our products. Order date is nothing but the billing date or invoice date. You can make it. Sales in terms of US dollar, you can make it INR also, no worries, no problem. Year of incurrence of sale, month, quarters, and intermediate channel partners, if any, that name is also available. So it's a huge data. It's a comprehensive data, you can see. And now, when I showed all these things to my boss is saying, Prabhas, this data is of no use for me. You keep it with you. I just want a simple summary out of this. What is that? Get me last 3 years revenue data based on the product. So whatever the products we have sold to our customers, based on the products, last 3 years revenue data I want to see. So we have understood. We have got 1 lakh line items. We have to present our data in a crispy format, summary format, tabular format, etc. Whatever you name it, fine. So now, how to do it? The first thing it comes to mind that we should go for a data summarizing tool in our Excel. We name it called pivot table or pivot table. Some of you have been already working with pivot table. I'm not denying about it. So this is how we take a call and immediately we start creating a pivot table, and then we face a lot of trouble. Why? Because we do not pay attention to the data, whether my data is ready for pivot table. We have taken a call, what should be the tool, but have we ever checked, we spend time to check whether my data is ready for pivot table? We never do that. So this is the reason why we always face a trouble, but we are not going to commit that same mistake going forward. So the first question, whenever you receive your data, ensure that your data is ready for pivot. For that, you got to satisfy 3 validation rules. Rule number 1, the data must contain a field header. Without field header, pivot is not possible. And no column header name should be duplicate. Like if you want to retain the customer column 2 times or twice, you can retain it, but you should name it as customer 1, customer 2, like that. So there should be always a unique column header name. This is the rule number 1. Rule number 2, the amount of data, whatever we have captured, there should not be a single cell as blank. So in one line, there should not be a blank cell inside the database. Well, how to confirm? In day 2, we discuss something in data clean 1. Select your data, kindly go along with me. Select your data, go for Control G. It will be taking you to the go to special dialog box over here. You have a special button. You can click that. And then we have an option called blanks. We have discussed all these things in day 2. Able to recall, everybody?
Yes.
Right. Same thing we are doing now, nothing new. So going to blanks and click OK, immediately you will be getting a message. No cells were found. So it's a simple message for us. There is no blanks inside the data set. If at all any blanks were there, then those blanks should have been selected. We should have done the replacement of that by hitting Control G over here, typing NA, dash, or nil, not available, not applicable. Those treatment we have already discussed. So now, rule number 3, ensure that no column should contain the merged data. No single column should have the merged data, because most of the time, what is the practice we have? We select multiple cell, we merge them, we define a header. See, that is good enough for this, the data is, I mean, it's okay. The data is easy for to understand. It is meant for to read the data, no problem with regard to that. But most of the time what it happens, people, our Excel functionalities or the tools whatever you are using or formulas you are applying, it is unable to read the merged data. So it is always better, make a thumb rule, whenever you want to go for any kind of calculations, avoid using merged data. So having said these 3 rules, our data is ready for pivot. We got a clarity. So all these 3 rules are clear. Can I take that?
Yeah.
Great. Now, next, as we discussed in our day 2, whenever we download the data from SAP or ERP, there are always 2 columns. There are always 2 columns, which is creating a trouble for us. What are they? Can somebody name that? Whenever you download the data from SAP or ERP system, there are 2 areas where you will be facing the trouble. 1, number will not be in number format. 2, date will not be in date format. Correct? Able to recall?
Yes. Yes. Date and number.
Right. So this is our duty now to check in our data whether all these 2 columns are complied with this ready-made standard format or not. So first thing, There is a order date column. You can see. Kindly keep your cursor in the first date of the order date column and select the rest. How to check my date is there in proper date format? I told you one keyboard shortcut to convert any format to date format. What was that?
Control Shift and the escape key.
Not exactly.
Number 3. Control Shift hash.
Very good.
No.
Control Shift and 3. Control Shift and 3 to convert any format to date format. So you just go for this and immediately, can you see the respective changes are happening? Date format is being changed.
Yeah.
So this is a confirmation message. Our data is there in date format. That's why these changes are happening. So this is the best way to check whether my date is there in proper date format or not. And this is the reason why I told you, friends, practice is very much essential. Whatever we are discussing in day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, we are going to use it frequently. Anyway, so don't do that mistake if you have missed out to practice. Now, coming to the next column, sales USD, the billing column, is it contain the numbers? We need to check that. So keep your cursor in the first billing value of sales USD column and select the rest. How to confirm my numbers are there in proper number format or not? Again, the keyboard shortcut to convert any format to number format, what it was. Yes, people? Control Shift
and 1.
Very good. Control Shift and 1 to confirm whether my date form, whether any format to convert to number format, Control Shift 1. So do you see that now the data is changing, format is changing? Are you getting a decimals in place, post decimal 2 characters, before decimal comma separator is being applied also?
Yes.
So all these changes are happening. So we have confirmed now our numbers are there in proper number format. So this is the best way to check the numbers and the date. The most essential columns should be there in the right format. We got it. Now numbers column, if you see, post decimal 2 zeros are there, which is not essential, which is not actually needed. So why unnecessary? We'll go and increase our file size by giving another 2 bytes or 2 characters post decimals. So let's remove that. How to remove, how to eliminate? We know that going to home, decrease decimal twice, or Alt H9 twice. Anything, whichever is comfortable, go for it. So now my date is in proper date format. Okay, column is also format, fine. Now kindly just look at my screen. I'm just giving a helping hand to you to understand what is the problem in our data. See, order date and month column, if you check, can you identify what is the problem we have? Anybody?
Date is
Yes, month was the column f of month was not equal to column I of the month.
So definitely technical, that has never been possible, isn't it? If the date is of Jan, month cannot be December, correct?
Yeah.
So we have to now rectify the month column. So now the question is how to get the exact month, how to extract a month from a date. What is the formula we used in day 1? Do you remember the formula E-date we use for AMC calculations, the example?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
No, E-date was to get the future date. What is the formula to get the month? Did you remember we used a formula called text? D, all these things we used, remember?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The same formula now we are going to use is equal to text. So going to is equal to text, then it demands me the value. Value is nothing but my order date. We take it, comma. Next, it demands me format text. So what we want is the month. So month purpose within 2 double inverted quotes, M, 4 times. Yes. Why 4M? I told you the reason, to get the complete string.
Full month.
Absolutely.
Full month name.
Absolutely. If I go for 3Ms, what's going to happen?
Shortcut month.
shortcut.
Shows only three alphabetical format.
Right. So in technical terms, it is called short text.
Yeah.
And if you go for 4M, long text of the month. Similarly, if I go for 2M, what's going to happen?
Short text.
No, it will be giving the
No,
month.
it will give the error.
No, it will be
Month
giving the
number.
month in terms of number. So if you
Okay.
see, the moment I go for this over here, if I go for 2Ms, just see what is happening. It is giving me the month name as number. So since January is the first month of the year, but it always follows the calendar year. It doesn't follow the financial year. That is the trouble. So this is the reason why, for a better understanding, we always go for 4Ms. Fine. We got the result for one case. The same we can apply for the rest. Double click on the fill handle, the pulling button or the drag button, and you got your month column rectified. Please confirm.
Yeah.
Right. Now, once we have done with this over here, friends, our data is ready for next level. No doubt about it. Now, let's go and do one thing. Always go for selecting the data and convert the data into table. So day 2, we discussed how to convert your data into table. What is the keyboard shortcut? Multi-DB filter, the example.
Control T.
Very good. Control T.
Control T.
Yes. Control T. T for tango, T for table. So Control T is going to help me converting any data into table. Okay, we got that. Click OK. Now immediately my data is converted into table. So hope you have got the data converted to table, everybody.
Can you repeat it again, please? Yes,
Yep.
this step.
Control A to select your entire data. Then Control T. T for tango, T for table. It will be giving you a dialog box and you have to click OK. And your data will be formatted like this. So this is how first you have to develop the practice going forward. Whenever you see a data, all these necessary things you have to check, because first 2 to 5 minutes is very, very essential. So you will not be facing further more troubles. And since now data is clean and respective changes have been done, finally we have converted into table. Then keep your cursor anywhere in the data set and go to insert. The very first option is dealing with your pivot table. And here I would like to tell you something. See, in this case, never ever go for navigating this pivot table option. People always goes for these options. Don't go for any of these options. Directly go and click the icon. So if you go for this, this is called your icon. This icon you click. Don't click the navigation button. See, this is two halves actually. This icon is having two halves. So upper half.
Prabhas, mine is not coming that you told, like Control T.
Not D. T. T for tango.
T. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. Yeah. Now it's okay.
Yeah. So now
this Control T, we have to select the area and then.
Yes, absolutely. You have to select the complete data set, Control A, keeping the cursor inside, then Control T, T for tango, T for table. And it will be giving you a dialog box. You have to click OK.
But that is for what purpose? Like
convert the data into table. It will be coming up in a table format like this, ready-made format.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, going to insert, the very first option, as I told you, go for pivot table, but click the icon. Do not go for navigation of the same icon. So when you click on the icon, this is going to give you a dialog box like this. And in this dialog box, the entire table is taken. Can you see that?
Yes.
Now, below to that, it is saying, choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed. By default, it is new. Let it be. No need to do any kind of changes in this. Now, go and click OK. So when you click OK, with immediate effect, you will be finding a blank sheet is generated in your workbook. And towards your left side, you will be finding an area is created. This is the place where your pivot is going to be designed. And in this, can you see a gray color shade area? One box is there naming called pivot table 1, isn't it? So it is a self-implied message that each and every pivot table will be having a unique name that you remember. Okay. Now, towards my right side, you could see a box is there where entire field list is available. So whatever in our source data or summary table data sheet field column headers are available, all these things are listed in this box. This is called field list box. And towards your right side, you'll be finding on my screen, small boxes kind of structures are there. This is called field area. Now we have only one job left. What is that? We need to take the right fields, whatever I want, and simple drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop, and drag and drop. This is the only action we need to initiate now. But the problem is over here, my layout is not matching with yours. Can you confirm that? In the right side, whatever the layout I'm just highlighting, is it matching with yours?
No.
So here one thing you need to understand. Now, if you compare which layout is giving more space to work with, if you see my layout, my custom list box, this field list box having below more space. Even if I have got 20 more fields also, I can manage and I can see all the fields over here. Can you see that? But whereas you have to scroll a lot. Can you imagine? Now, in my case, all the fields wherever the box is showing immediate right. So I can immediately drag and drop left to right. I don't need to go for top to bottom to drag and drop. So the first thing is to bring everyone's format as the equal layout. Go to your settings button. There is a settings or gear box kind of button is there over here. You can click that. And there we have an option, field section and area section side by side. This option you have to enable. And you'll be finding the similar layout like me. Hope you are getting this. Got it. Right. So this is one-time job. You don't need to do it every time. Don't worry.
We are supposed to click on that.
Yep.
Enable.
Yes, you have to click that.
Okay.
So once you click, then only you'll be finding the layout like me.
Correct.
Right. So this is just a one-time job, people. No need to be worried about every time do I need to do no such kind of things. Now, coming to the data population, just drag and drop. So let us go and focus with. As my boss was demanding a report, product-wise last 3 years revenue data. Okay, first, how to start with. Now, the revenue data, the billing column, sales USD is my billing column, invoice column or billing column, isn't it? Now, this data, is it containing numbers?
Yes.
So whichever the column contains numbers, you must populate in the value field area. You have to populate in the value field area, drag and drop. Why? Why value field? Because if you bring the numbers into the value area, can you see a sigma option is also there? Sigma value. Can you see that?
Yes.
So it is a simple message. You can do all your necessary formula or functions calculations only in this field area. Sum, count, average, product, minimum, maximum, anything you want, you can do it from this only. That's why the number column, you have to always bring it to the value field area. Fine. Now, next. Boss was looking for last 3 years revenue, right? So we have a year column. You can check it out below to sales USD.
Yes.
That you bring it to the column area. So you'll be finding 3 different years wise, 3 different revenue column ready over there. Now you can ask me a question, Prabhas, is it mandatory? I should go for only column? No, you can bring it to rows also. The data pattern will be changing. So instead of 3 different column wise revenue, 3 different row wise revenue, you will be getting. That is the only difference. So you want vertically or horizontally, that you have to decide. Now, why did I opt for vertical format? Because I have got something else to bring in my report. What is that? Product wise last 3 years revenue. So product description, can you see one column is there in the field list box?
Yeah.
So that you bring it to the row area and see a beautiful report is ready. So out of that entire 1 lakh records, we got a crispy summarized report over here. And the total, if you see 3,199,253, please confirm you got the same total, all of you?
Yes.
Right. So our pivot table is ready. Now, though our pivot table is ready, people, we cannot dispatch the same to the next level. The reason, this pivot table has got little bit drawback. Drawback in the sense, as I told you, in day 1 and day 2, Mere presenting the numbers is not enough. So always care for your little bit of presentation part, because nowadays in Excel, presentation also plays a great role. So first thing first, how to change the look and feel of our pivot table and give a different meaning. So first thing, keep your cursor anywhere in pivot. Can you see one design button is activated in the extreme right of your ribbon menu options? Yes, people, do you see design button?
Yes.
In this design button, there are so many pivot table styles are available. If you go for more style, again, it opens up with three broad categories: light, medium, dark, and we have seen all these things in format as table option also. I told you, always go for light or medium. Do not go for the dark options. Why?
It
File
comes in
size will be
more
lesser.
files.
Very good. Always remember that. The more the dark colors, file size will be more. So here we'll take one medium category. And the moment I take this, now see the beautiful report done so. So compared to the previous version, now somewhat looking colorful. Right. So this is the first thing we should do. Now, second, what to do? Now, this bold, Genix Nano, Hexa, Indica, Indigo, what are they?
Car names.
So these
Product
are
names.
so these are our products. Very good. So we have a product description field name is there. But if you look at your pivot table, what is the header displaying?
Row label.
So how a layman is going to understand that these are my car models or car products or my product names? It may be something else. It may be the toy names, or it may be accessories, or it may be inventory items. It may be anything. Since the header is missing, so people can name it anything, correct? So this is the place where we have to bring the exact field name over here in place of row levels. Similarly, 2014, 15, 16, what are they exactly?
Year.
So it is showing column labels. So this is again one more problem of pivot. Always it comes with the row label and column label. So we have to bring the exact field name. But here our experts suggest you, Prabhas, don't worry, go and edit the fields. Don't ever edit the pivot table field names. Now today you will not find any difference or impact. If tomorrow you go and create some kind of automation or a macro program to automate your entire pivot table report, your macro will not run. Your macro will stop since you are changing the fields manually. So now the question is how to bring the same field name over here. I'll tell you a very beautiful concept. See the beauty. Keep your cursor anywhere in pivot table. Go to design, extreme right, design. From the left, third option, report layout. And you have an option, show in tabular form. If you click that, can you see automatically now the same field name appears as it is in the pivot table?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So this is what the minimum formatting first you need to do. And once it is ready, now, as I told you in our day 1 and day 2 as well.
I think, Prabhas, I think your screen was stuck.
No, I'm
Oh,
highlighting.
okay.
No, it's okay. It's working.
Right. So here,
Prabhas, can you repeat the tabular thing what you just told us?
going to design, going to report layout from the third option from the left, show in tabular form.
Prabhas,
Yeah.
when we were preparing the pivot table, so simultaneously one graph is also became ready on the right side of the table.
Yes, we can. That we are going to learn. We are now in.
So it has got automatically there. It has got automatically over there here.
No, graph will never come automatically.
I got it.
Okay, could you please share your
Yeah,
screen?
I got it here.
Yeah, could you please share your screen?
Yeah, one moment. Yes. Can you see this?
It's getting loaded. Okay. You have created this because you have gone for a recommended pivot table. It will not come automatically. You have to generate that. Unless and until you go for a recommended pivot table, this will not come. If you want to, you can retain that, but right now you can delete it. We are going to discuss that separately. Don't worry.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Well, friends, so I'm taking the control back on the screen. And now the moment we have done with this over here, our pivot is ready, no doubt about it. And as I told you in day 1 and day 2, nowadays the audience is having a different level of expectation. When you present your data as it is, nobody likes it. And what audience is expecting? That you should present your data in such a way, it should tell a beautiful story to the people. So now, how will I create a story in my data? Let's see. Click any of the cell from the grand total column. Just keep your cursor, any of the cell in the grand total column, and right click upon the same. When you go for mouse right click or touchpad right click, there's an option called sort. And when you go for sort, there's an option called sort largest to smallest. And immediately your data will turn up with a beautiful story. So what is the kind of story? Anybody who is looking at my data, he can make out from the end, all the products from Indica, we have got the maximum revenue. And from just product, we have got the least revenue. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So this is how we have understood from any sort of data, if I want to prepare a pivot table, how to create a pivot table, doing the necessary level checks, rectifying the necessary columns, satisfying all the 3 validation rules, creating the pivot table, then bringing the necessary field names from the design tab, doing the minimum formatting, finally presenting the same with a storytelling format by arranging the data in terms of value from largest to smallest. So please rename the sheet as pivot 1. So any questions in pivot 1, people? Anybody?
No.
Right. Now we are going to discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot. Okay, so let's do one thing. Take your mouse pointer to pivot 1 sheet name and right click upon the same. Keep your mouse pointer in pivot 1 sheet name and right click upon the same. Then go to move or copy. You will be finding option move or copy. And when you go to move or copy, a dialog box appears where a create a copy checkbox is not activated. You can activate the checkbox.
Okay.
And when you click OK with immediate effect, a clone of your pivot 1 is turning up. You can rename the same as pivot table number 2.
Okay.
Right. So now, once we got our pivot 2 ready, let's discuss what else we can do. So can I take that, people? You got your pivot 2 ready?
Yes.
Yes.
How about the others? I got 3 confirmation. Okay. Right. Now, let's discuss something on this point. I'm going to take 2 names from our group. One is Komal and other one is Pranjali. Is that okay if I take the name for the story?
Yeah.
Komal, any objection?
Okay.
Don't worry, don't be frightened. I'm not going to use your name for any other purpose, only for our story purpose. Don't worry.
Yes, sure.
Okay, thank you so much. So now, take an example. This is what our friend Komal has presented to Pranjali. So Pranjali is watching the data and she is telling, Komal, you have given me last 3 years revenue data. Well and good. And you have also given me the product-wise data in our row items. So it is very easy for me to analyze. This is what Pranjali is saying. And thank you so much for that. Now, when boss is so happy giving a compliment to the work, so Komal, what's next?
You will expect more.
Definitely. So Pranjal is also having the same expectation. So what Pranjal is now asking that Komal, you have given me last 3 years revenue data. That's fine. but I want to do some deep dive analysis on the same. I want to do some macro level of analysis on the same. So what is the meaning by deep dive analysis or macro level of analysis? Let's discuss. Year-wise data we have given. If I go in depth, what I can compare, month-wise analysis I can do. So that is what nothing but your macro level of analysis. So let's go and check. So what our friend Komal has to do first, she has to check whether we do have a field called month. Check it out, please.
Yes.
We do have, no problem. So take that to the row area. Take that to the row area. And when you take it immediately, can you see a beautiful structure of your pivot is coming up? So pivot layout has been changed now, pivot report structure is changed, and everything we got it, and month column is also ready. So once you have this kind of format or layout, one thing always keep in your mind, friends, each and every pivot table, they have their own unique story. So before sending the file to someone else, you need to understand what kind of story this table is going to convey. Okay, so let's go and analyze that. Last 3 years revenue data was required by Pranjali. Komal has created the same. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
What was the next requirement of Pranjali? Immediately, month-wise data she wants to analyze. So Komal has prepared one column naming called month also. Is it there?
Yes.
Fine. But the report, if you look at, the emphasis and the preference is still lying in the product column only. Though year column is there, month column is there, but month becomes secondary. Product is still playing a primary role. Can you see that?
Yes.
So what kind of message it is conveying? It is showing that Komal is presenting the data, last 3 years revenue data based on the product, then month. So product primary plays a primary role, month playing a secondary role. Whereas Pranjali has asked, year-wise data she wants to see, but month-wise analysis she wants to. She has never emphasized upon the product. So this is the place where it has gone wrong. So we need to now rectify this. How, what Komal has to do? She has to see in the row area, what is the first field we have? Product description. So that she has to bring it below to the month. So simply interchanging the field, switching the field, a beautiful story turns up again in the pivot table. So now you see last 3 years revenue data with regard to the product. So product becomes secondary, month becomes primary now. So no more emphasis on the product. Now emphasis is given on the month column. Yes, people, is it clear what we did?
Yes, Prabhas, can you repeat? I did not understand from the month.
Okay, I'll tell you. See, the earlier report, if you talk about how it was, last 3 years revenue data with regard to the month, right?
Correct.
But if you look at the entire report, the product column is there in the first column, right?
Right.
You have never emphasized, you have never said your requirement that I'm looking for product wise last 3 years data to compare along with the month. You said only last 3 years revenue data along with the month I want to compare. So you have never given any hint also to work around with the product to Komal, correct? So that is the place where it has gone wrong. So what Komal is presenting.
How did you create this month wise?
The month we have bring
the
it.
First part you're
That's what month we have to bring it to the rows. Yes.
Okay. Fine.
So now the report what Komal has prepared, month is playing a secondary role, product is still playing a primary role. And this is what you are not looking at. So your requirement is month should be playing the primary role. So in that case, we have to go to our row area, bring the product description below to the month. And immediately the report structure changes. So now last 3 years revenue data, whatever we have, based on that, the month-wise comparison easily can be expressed. Hope this layout is clear, what we created, people. As I told you, each and every pivot table, they convey their unique story. So now this is the story perfectly matching with the requirement, what Pranjali had given to Komal.
Yes, I got it.
Right. Now, once you all got this, then again, I'm taking the same example. Now, Pranjali has focused on the data area. And when she is watching this, then she could see that there are so many places blank cells are there. right? And she immediately asked to Komal, Komal, why there are so many blanks? So Komal, what will be your reply? Why there are so many blanks?
Because they are repeat items.
Repeat items. Repeat items of
Data
what?
is not available.
That's a good one.
That month,
Right, right.
that
So,
year, that product no sales.
yes. So that to 2014 in the month of January with regard to Jest, we have never raised a single invoice. That's why the pivot is having the blank. So it's not necessary that in pivot each and every field should carry a value or cell should carry a value, right? So this is what Komal knows. Komal understands because she is dealing with the data, correct? Now, when the data goes to Pranjali or any other person XYZ, definitely they will be having the same question. And when the question is there, Komal has to explain, leaving her day-to-day work. And when she's sending the same to 3 to 4 people, 3 to 4 times, she has to explain that. Now, Komal, when you are explaining 3 to 4 times to 3 different people, whose premium time is being wasted?
Everyone's.
Forget about the others. Think about yourself first.
Yes.
Your time is wasted, correct?
Yes.
Right. Who is responsible for that?
Me only. Me.
Right. Why you? Why not Pranjali?
It was not presented properly.
Okay, good one. I like your optimistic thought. But technically, boss is right. Always. We know that in the corporate, right? So we cannot blame our bosses at any point of time. So somebody has to take the responsibility. Who is left out?
Me.
Of course, Komal. So Komal is ready to accept that it's her mistake. So
Yes.
if you ask me, I would also say it's Komal's mistake. Why it's Komal's mistake? Because Komal, when she's dispatching the data people, it is her duty to replace all these blanks with some kind of predefined text, 0, hyphen, nil, not available. Then only she can stop people asking unwanted questions. Do you agree with me all? Right.
Yes.
But how to do that? That is what the question. So here, find and replace is not going to work because this is a pivot table, not a generic Excel data. So I'll tell you a very beautiful concept. Just see, in pivot, anywhere you do the right click, and from the bottom second options, can you see one option called pivot table options? If you click that, a dialog box is going to appear where you can see a option is there, naming called for empty cell show, a box is there. In that box, you have to type whatever you want to replace with. So 0, hyphen, nil, anything you like, you can type. But I would suggest always go for 0 since we are dealing with numbers. And the moment when you type 0 and click OK, can you see all the blank cells, whatever we had, has it replaced with 0? So this is how we should do the right treatment for your blanks if it generates in pivot table so that you can stop people asking unwanted questions. Hope everybody is getting the same people. Any doubt, any queries?
Yeah.
Great. Gautam, clear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Shada?
Can you repeat again, please?
Sure. Right click on pivot from the bottom second option, pivot table, options, and then you should go for empty cell show. You have to type in this box.
Right click after.
On pivot, right click. Then from bottom second option, bottom side second option, pivot table options. Right?
Pivot table options. Okay.
Right. So in that, for empty cell show, a box is there. In that box, you have to type 0 and click OK. So all the blank cells will be replaced with 0.
Got it.
Right. Now, once it has been done with this, now this report Pranjali has happened to see and she is quite happy the way Komal has presented, but her focus has gone to the data area. Now she started working with the data. Who? Pranjali. She's looking at First product is just okay, hexa, next one, like that. When she's reaching to the last product, try to understand. When she's reaching to the last product, this product belongs to which month? That data is missing. So when she has to look back, then in the beginning, then only she realizes this is of January month. So this is what Pranjal is not comfortable reading the data in this way. So she is expecting now from Komal that Komal should go and deal something with this column in such a way, whichever the product Pranjali any point of time she happens to see, she should know immediately which month that product belonged to. So basically, if you look at our month column, there are so many blanks are there. Those blank cells has to be replaced with the respective month name. This is what Pranjali is expecting. If you remember in our day 2, one data fill technique we have discussed. Remember? City name wise, we have got the product. City name was not replicated. It was appearing only in the first row. The exercise name called data fill. Right?
Yes.
So the same thing over here, but there we had to go for long process like selecting the data, going for Control G, special, blanks, equal to, previous cell, Control Enter, lot of tasks we did over there. But now, since we are in pivot, see the things are how become so easy. Keeping the cursor anywhere in pivot, go to design. Design. In that same report layout from the left third option, we have an option called repeat all item labels. Can you see? Repeat all item labels. If you click that,
Yeah.
automatically the entire month column will be replicated with the month names in all the blank cells. Able to see?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is how the treatment you must do anywhere whenever you are working with pivot, and turn the data into a flat data. And when you are presenting, people will not struggle while reading the data. So that's the story of our pivot table number 2. So what we did, how to take more than one field and populate in one field area. And whenever there is a need, how to interchange the fields to turn a different story. Then how to replace the blank cells with your predefined text without going for copy paste special value or going for find and replace, going to design, going to report layout. And we have discussed about that, how to create our repeat all item labels so that we can turn into a flat data, all these things we discussed. So any doubt in pivot 2 people? Kindly save all your files. So can you go for next level?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Right click on pivot to sheet name. Move or copy. Create a copy checkbox need to be activated. Click OK. So one more pivot turns up. Kindly rename the same as pivot table number 3.
Yes.
Now, once this is done over here, let's see what else we can do over there in our pivot table. So I'll tell you now. Suppose say this is what our friend Komal has presented to Pranjal. The same thing, I'm continuing the story. So Komal, now Pranjal is saying that Komal, you have given me last 3 years revenue data and month wise also to analyze. I'm able to do that. So this pattern is really good. I like the most. And this is the layout. You please retain. But I am done with product. I am no more interested to see the pivot based on the product. Same layout should be there. Same pattern should be there. But instead of product now, Pranjalis would like to analyze the data based on the customer. So customer wise analysis she wants to do. So first thing first, which is unwanted product description. So from the field list, can you see one checkbox is there against of each and every field?
Yes.
You just deactivate that. So product description has gone from pivot. Now, based on which columns he is interested to analyze? Customer. So please bring customer. We have the first field in the list to the row area. And see, same report layout, but only thing is now instead of product, we have a customer field. Can you see?
Yes.
So now, once we have got this, let us go and analyze the report. Now, please stay focused on my screen. Who is our first customer?
Al-Mahad Automobile.
Yep. So Al Hamid Automobiles is my first customer. Okay, now take an example. Suppose I am trying to analyze this. Now suppose the same thing, the same story I'm continuing. Now Pranjal is watching the data and she is analyzing over here. Al Hamid Automobiles 2014 January month, some business, no business. So going to Feb, some business is there, good sign. Okay. March, again, no sign, no business over here. April, again, no business. May also no business. So like that, when she's comparing going to July, after May, again March, going to July. So 3 to 4 months between, there's no business. So like this, a particular customer's data, if she wants to analyze for the whole year, she has to scroll down 12 times. Can you imagine? Yes, people?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is what Pranjal is not comfortable reading the data, and nobody does that also even. So this is what Pranjal is now telling to Komal. Komal, you have prepared the data, no doubt, but it is not giving a comfort zone to work with. This is what Pranjal is saying. So why don't you do something with the report in such a way that whenever I open the file, it should give me the entire list of or name of the customers and what is the data I could see. I don't need to navigate. I don't need to scroll. I don't need to do any kind of activities. It just simply show me the result. So this is what Pranjal is demanding. Well, now in that case, how to present your data effectively? Let's discuss. So the first thing first, now we have got rows field in that, which is the first field in row area is the month.
Right.
That you take it to the column area. Month, you hold it and drag it to the column area, and you see a beautiful structure of your pivot turns up. All the customer names, the first column it is appearing, and now the entire data to the right side.
Perfect.
Right. But imagine how many columns you would have landed up with. Just see my screen. No need to do anything. If I look at how many columns are there, can you see? So total 41 columns of data it is created, right? Now suppose say our friend Pranjali has told to Komal already that Komal, while you are coming to me, please bring a printout of that report. So now how Komal is going to take a printout of 41 columns? So let's take the answer or reply from our friend Komal. Komal, what's your answer? How you take a printout of 41 columns?
Come very small font it will give.
Definitely. So Komal, do you carry a hourglass with you all the time?
No.
Not at all. So definitely, Komal cannot carry a A4 sheet of paper having the fonts not in a readable format. So she has to carry a hourglass while she is reaching to Pranjali for that. So nobody does that. In fact, nobody also looking for in that way the report to be there, right? So now the question is, if this kind of huge volume of data is there, then how to present it effectively? See the beauty. In our column B, you see, first 1 minute, watch my screen, what I'm doing, observe, next 1 minute, you can try. See, in column B, if you look at, when I keep my cursor in 2014, there is a cell called 2014. I will just right click upon that. And there, I have an option, expand and collapse. And when I go for expand collapse, there's an option called collapse entire field. If I go for it, see the beauty. Immediately, what is going to happen? Entire 3 years data, it's turning up into 3 columns and creating some kind of plus symbols kind of icons over there in the headers. This is called radio button. And any point of time, suppose Pranjal is asking to Komal, Komal, can you please show me the data for 2016? So Komal has to click on the plus symbol, and only 2016 data records alone is going to be displayed on the screen. So unwanted data she is not showing, unwanted questions are not going to be invited. And once the presentation is over, if you want to restore your data, then again click on the plus symbol, the review button, and the data will be stored in a collapse options. So this is how people you can work around with your expand and collapse button. So just give it a try, check it out. Is it working?
Yeah.
So any doubt, any queries, people, anybody? All are getting the same flavor of the report format. If at all any questions running in your mind, feel free to ask.
The collapsing, can you tell once again how to collapse it?
Yeah, I have already shared the image also. You can see the moment you look at, see, just right click on that. Yeah, 2014, the cell is there. Okay, in column B, can you see 2014 is there?
Yeah, yes.
In that, right click. Then expand and collapse. Do you see one option is coming up?
Yes.
In that, collapse entire field. So you'll be getting the plus kind of symbols in the year cells.
Yeah, got it.
So whichever the year you want to showcase the result for the entire 12 months, click on that plus symbol. It will be expanded only with that regard to that year. And again, you want to presentation, you bring it, you restore it back. Then you have to click that again, this radio button, it will restore your data. Yes, any other questions from anybody?
Yeah, question.
Yes,
from
Mohita.
me.
Yep.
How to collapse the month now, like the month columns?
Month columns. The month
Like
columns, why you want to
only
collapse? It is happening
like
for the entire thing.
okay, for the entire year.
Yeah.
But if I want to see only for a certain month on that particular year.
So that you cannot do it. Either you do not want means you have to hide those columns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because if you do not want a particular, suppose I take an example. Now I have 2016, I have just expanded. Okay. Now I'll show you. Now, if you want to show only for the month of April. So if I go for month of April, I can control from this filter button. Month filter is there, right? You can go and control from only for this from April month. But what will be happening? This will show April month only for not only 2016, even though you go for 2015 also April, 2014 also April.
Okay.
Yeah. So any particular month data, suppose you are doing a seasonal business and you know April to September, you have got the peak period. You want to compare the data only for April to September. So from month filter, you can check what are the columns you want, whichever the month you want to compare, whichever the month you want to operate, you can do the operation from this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Right.
Thank you.
Welcome. So this is how people, we have understood that over here 2015 and 2016. Perfect. So this is called our expand and collapse buttons, how to use it to make a crispy report. That's the story of our pivot table number 3. Now, right click on pivot 3 sheet name over here, move or copy. Move or copy. Then create a copy checkbox is there. You can activate and click OK. Okay. So one more pivot turns up. You can rename the same as pivot table number 4. Now, once your pivot 4 is ready, let us discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Now, what we did over here, Then one thing for sure, people, anybody can do that because this is just a simple pivot table feature. The person who is aware of that feature, he also can utilize that. What do you think? Am I right?
Yes.
Did we do something extraordinary stuff, something unique, something different, something a creativity, something we added over here? Nothing. No such kind of things. So now the question is, what I always emphasizing upon when you are presenting your data, always try to make it different from others. So now the question demands how to make our presentation different from others. What else can be done? What kind of value addition you can give it to the work?
Can we use table format here?
Table, pivot table itself is a table format.
Graph. We could apply. Yeah, graph we can.
Slicer.
Graphical.
That's a good one. We
Slicer.
can slicer. Okay,
Yes.
slicer. Okay, slicer. We can do that. Good. But slicer, what purpose?
To take with the department product type.
Not necessary. See, this is what the data I have. I don't want to bring any other further columns to this. See, my question is very simple. This is the data I have. Anybody can present in this format. But my question is, what else we can do? See, anybody else also can bring the product type. As you are telling product type, if it is a product type, anybody also can do that because product type field is already there, correct? So that's not called a value addition. This is an additional field, additional information you are giving. So that additional field also available for everyone. It's not only for you. So my question is very simple. One thing you can do, yes, the entire data, we can present it in a graphical format. But we have not discussed so far the charts and graphs topic. Have you discussed in day 1, day 2 anywhere? Not yet, right?
Not.
Yes. So that you please rule out for the time being from our discussion point, scope of work. Whatever we discussed, based on that, recollect what can be done. You are ready now to answer that.
Yeah.
Gautam, any idea?
No.
Okay. Swapnil? As I told you, you are ready to answer. So we have discussed all these things. Only thing is you have to recollect. You have to just trigger a button to connect. That's it. Komal, what's your opinion? Because you are going to present it different to Pranjali. Else Pranjali will not give you the appraisal. Don't worry about that.
I think we can use this data visualization.
Very good. What kind of visualization?
Those small bar charts like that.
Okay.
Conditional formatting.
Okay. Conditional formatting,
formatting.
data bars. So data bars,
Yeah.
where to apply? Gautam?
The values.
In all these values, you mean to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Or we can do it in the grand total.
Grand total. Okay. Grand total. Let's go for the grand total. If I go for grand total, home tab, conditional formatting, data bars, how it is going to play a role over here. Even if I expand over here so much things, doesn't make a much of difference, right? Simply showing that it's having a colorful bars over here, correct?
Yeah.
Well, I will take you through. Fine, no problem. So you're unable to connect it. So I'll be giving a helping hand. So first 1 minute, watch my screen, what I'm doing, observe, understand. Next 1 minute, I'll be giving time to you to work with. First, you look at my screen. See, I will create a column naming over here called visual. Outside column. This is not a pivot part. Okay. Now, to give a feel of a pivot, I'll be applying the same formatting of pivot only over here, at least the colorful format I'm talking about. Now, who is our first customer? Suppose say Al Hamid Automobiles. I selected the 3 years data. I will go to my insert. I will go to my sparkline. If you remember in the data visualization, we discussed a sparkline called column, able to recollect everybody.
Yes.
So now I'm going to take the line option. Okay, same sparkline category, but line option. When I go for line, this demands me, where is the data? Data is already selected. Location, the visual column for cell. Now, the moment I click OK, immediately it gives me a line kind of bar graph kind of diagram. Now, I will go and apply for the rest of the customers. When I did it, can you see a beautiful presentation turns up? And here also an extreme right, it options or sparkline tab or a kind of a design tab, something will be coming up where we have an option called markers, and I need to choose this markers option and see the beauty. People will love to see this and this. Nobody is going to read your numbers because numbers is very difficult to interpret and nobody can register the numbers or remember the numbers. So now how people are going to interpret this, just see. Alhamid Automobiles compared to last year, volume is somewhat similar, so it's a good sign, no problem. But Arya Motors, it is giving a consistent growth. It's a good sign. Bavaria Motors, it is going down. Why? It's a serious issue. Since there was a last year pandemic situation, but still they were doing well, but this the situation is normal. They are going down. So there is something serious problem with the Bavaria Motors. We need to check it out. Now, if you look at in this contest, if you look at what happens to the customer to our Siddha Motors, it is going down in the last year, but somewhat now they have survived in the market and little bit of business growth is there. Good sign. But National Auto Wheels, it is showing a drastic growth. So it's a good sign from the company perspective. And we should know also how did they do well. And Gurudev Motors and Kunoch Motors and Lexus Motors, if you talk about, they are having a consistent growth. So like that, people would like to make an opinion interpretation from the visual column because this is giving an instant information about my data. Nobody is going to read your numbers. So that's how we have added one more beauty to make our data more meaningful, more informative, a value additions to the data and making something different from others. Hope you got a clarity. Give it a try, please.
Yeah.
First, create the visual column. Good. If you have done, those who have not done it, please do it now. First, create the visual column. Then give a feel of the same formatting. Select your first customer's 3 years data. Go to Insert, Line Sparkline. Then location range, select visual column first cell against of that customer and click OK. Drag the same to the rest of the customers. Finally, you will be getting a Sparkline tab or Options tab or Design tab depending upon the version of your Microsoft Excel. You have an option called Markers. You have to activate this. This checkbox is not activated. You have to activate this and your story is complete.
Yeah.
So able to do it properly, people? So don't you think that this kind of value addition we can do what we have learned in our day too? Correct?
Yes.
So this is how you have to develop the practice, people. Nobody demands all these things. This is inherent by nature from your side. You have to present it. And trust me, whomever you present this, they are going to be happy watching your presentation. So can I take that? Paper 4 is clear for everyone. Any questions?
No.
So pretty clear. Okay. Jijo?
Yeah, clear. Thank you.
Okay, great. Pooja, what is the status?
Yeah, Prabhas, all good.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Gangadhar?
Yes, I'm good.
Great. Fine then. So we'll go for our next level. Say, right click on pivot 4 sheet name people, then move or copy, and then go for create a copy checkbox you can activate and click OK. And when you go for this, one more pivot turns up. You can rename the same as pivot table number 5. And this pivot table, visual column work is over. So you can select the visual column and go for Control minus to delete. Then unwanted data like customer.
So to delete any table, we can use the control minus.
No, not table, any column, any
Okay.
column or any
Okay.
row.
Yeah, any column. Yeah,
Yeah.
any column. Sorry.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Now the unwanted data, like from the pivot customer, you can deactivate the checkbox from the field list box. Month, you can deactivate. Now bring product description to the rows. The first pivot table, whatever we had created, bring the same structure, nothing else. Now, once we have done with these people, next what we can do, let's discuss. Please stay focused with my storyline. Suppose say this is what our friend Komal has presented to Pranjal. Pranjal is watching the data. She is quite happy the way Komal has also presented. Finally, what she is asking that Komal, you have given me last 3 years revenue data. That's fine. But I want to know, while generating this much of revenue, how much incentives we have paid. I want to check that. So basically in one line, if you want to say, Pranjali would like to check revenue versus incentive side by side, adjacent columns. She wants to compare and she wants to analyze. So now the first question we need to do, or Komal has to check, do we have a field called incentive? Kindly check.
No.
So
No.
our problem starts. We do not have the data. Okay, keep that thing in hold. Technically, in any corporate or industry, wherever we are working, whom we pay the incentives?
Salesperson.
Absolutely right. So salesperson, sales agent or salesman, whomever we have paid, Pranjal is not interested knowing that, whom we have paid. How much we have paid, she wants to know. So suppose say in our Tata Motors, we have a uniform policy or a global policy that whatever the revenue we generate, whatever the billing we make, 2% out of the billing we declare as an incentive and we give it to the salespeople. Okay. Now people from south, north, east, west, whichever the zone they are working with, uniformly they are entitled for 2% incentive. So now the question is, we do not have incentive data, but we know how to compute it. If that is the case, then how to bring incentive over there in pivot table. So when you do not have the data, we do always have an option. What's that? We can go back to the source data. We can create a column over there. Do you agree? When you do not have the data, we can go back to the source data. Can we create a column called incentive?
Yes.
So let's do that. And as we know, when you create a column, automatically same formatting is carried forward. Day one, we have seen already. Able to recall?
Yeah.
Now, formula. What should be the formula? Equal to billing column. Billing column is my sales USD. So equal to G5. It automatically takes is the formatting part. Don't worry, like this at the rate symbol, sales USD, all these things just comes automatically. No need to be panic for that. And all those things we have also seen in day one. Now multiply. How many percentage?
2%.
2% or 0.02. Also you can type. Now once you see the same, hit enter. Can you see the beauty? It applies for the whole column, correct? We no need to drag the formula, copy paste the formula. We have seen all these things.
Yes.
So brother, you asked me why did you convert the things in table? Able to recall all these things?
Yeah.
Right. Now, the moment we have done with this people, our data is ready in our summary table data sheet. So I believe everybody has got their incentive column ready. Can I take that?
Yes.
Yes, people, could you please confirm? I got to confirmation. You can drop me a message or you can unmute and speak. No problem. Anything is okay for me. I just need a confirmation. All right. Thank you so much for your response. Now let us go back to our pivot table number 5. And below to channel partners, do you see a field called incentive?
Yes. No, channel parts.
Channel partners, below to that incentive is missing. Okay. We got the data in all is source table data, but we have not yet got it to the pivot. So no need to be panic. Just right click anywhere in the pivot. You have an option called refresh. Able to see?
Correct.
And immediately, can you see below to channel partners now incentive field is listed?
Yes.
So this is the beauty. And once you have the same incentive, what type of data it is holding? Is it holding the numbers?
Yeah.
So that
values.
Definitely bring it, please. And you got your things ready. So can you see now in your pivot, you will be getting a column naming called total incentive. Along with that, the year-wise incentive also you could see it is populating. So what we have understood now, even though we do not have the data, no need to be panic. Any point of time, we can create the data in our source data sheet. The same we can bring it to pivot table. And here, how this refresh option is helping because of format as table. Since our data is formatted as table, a simple refresh is working. In normal course of action, refresh will not work. So for that, what people will suggest, they will tell you go to pivot table, analyze, change data source, this, that, and all options. They will ask you to go for it because there is no other options for behind that. So this is how people we have understood that whenever there is a need to add any other further columns in pivot table, you can always have an option.
Lost the connection.
Yep. Yes, any questions?
I lost the connection in 5 minutes back. Can you repeat again?
Yeah, could you please share your screen? What state you are in? Let me have a look, then I can guide you properly.
Actually,
Gangadhar, I'm unable to hear you.
For oh God.
Have you created pivot 5?
Yes, I'm going to create pivot 5.
Okay, no problem. So once you create pivot table number 5, our requirement is we need to create an incentive column in pivot 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to first go to your source data sheet. That is summary table data sheet. Create a column naming called incentive. Just type text incentive up to the last column, channel partners.
Okay.
Then type a formula equal to billing column, that is column G5, equal to G5 cell you select. It will take this kind of cells, USD, square brackets, @ symbol, all these things turns up. Don't worry about it. Just click G5. Then multiply by 2%. And you will be getting your first incentive. Along with that, the other incentive column also ready. Yes, Gangadhar, any problem?
Yes, got it.
Okay, so as I understand, you got your summary table sheet with your incentive column ready, correct? Fine. Now bring your, please come back to your pivot table number 5. Right click anywhere in the pivot table. Do you see an option called refresh?
1 minute. Pivot table 5 up in
Right click.
Tomorrow I'm going to struck. Right click, then refresh, right?
Right. So you'll be getting a incentive field populated in your box field list box below to channel partners.
Yes.
Then the same field you bring it to the value area.
Okay.
So you'll be getting a incentive column is populated as a total incentive. Along with that, year wise incentive also you'll be getting, correct?
Yes, got it.
Right. So that's the story of our pivot table number 5. Well, friends, I believe everybody is clear with pivot 5.
Yes.
Now, right click on pivot 5 sheet name. Move or copy. Create a copy checkbox you can activate and click OK. So one more pivot turns up. You can rename the same as pivot table number 6. Incentive work is over. Please remove the incentive checkbox from the field list box.
Yes, done.
Great. Now let us discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. So please stay focused with the demand from the other side first. Suppose this is what our friend Komal has presented. Pranjal is watching the data and she appreciated the way Komal has presented the incentive data. She appreciated that. And final now she's saying, Komal, I am done with incentive. Now I would like to know, while making this much of billing, how much discounts we have given to our customers. I just want to know. So basically in one line, if you want to say, Pranjali would like to analyze billing versus discount. Like that, adjacent column, she wants to analyze the data. So first thing first, do we have a field called discount? Kindly check it out.
No.
Again, the problem starts. We do not have a discount. Fine, we keep it on hold. Let's discuss something. Like incentive, for discounts also, we have a global policy. What is that? It's a uniform policy. Whoever the customers or dealers, how many quantities of cars, respect to the quantities they purchase, they are entitled for 5% discount. So everybody we give uniformly 5% discount. Assume that. Now, the question is, we do not have the data, but we know how to compute the discount. Now, if that is the case, how to bring the discount column in pivot? What can be done for that? Anybody?
Summary sheet also we can create.
Like the way we have done incentive, the similar fashion, can we go for discount?
Probably.
Yep.
Same.
That's what we learned, right? Now,
Yeah.
Yes.
just let's analyze that. Don't do anything. Just stay focused with my storyline. See, for incentive, what we did, we have gone to summary table, we created a new column, we applied a formula, we go for application of the same for the rest, then we bring back to our pivot, we go for simply right click, refresh, then we bring the field to the value area. Now this entire exercise, how much time roughly we have spent? Around 2 to 5 minutes, you can say. So minimum 2 minutes, max to max 5 minutes. So one end our 5 minutes of max premium time is being wasted. Yes, it's wasted. Besides that, going to our source data, creating a new column, applying the formula, making the formula size more and file size more. Do you think that this is a great idea? File size is also increasing, right? Isn't it? And this is what I told you in day one itself. This should be our primary concern. Whenever we create our data, always try to keep your formula length minimum and file size is also always in the reduced fashion, so that it will not take that much of time to open the file and the data execution also will be faster. And if the file size is not heavy, you can send it across over the attachments conveniently. We have discussed all these things, correct? Yes, people, you all remember day one we discussed all these things?
Yeah.
Right. So now, having said this, what we did for incentive calculations, people, this is what our experts, they do suggest us to do the job like this. But technically, Microsoft Excel never recommends for that. Reasons I told you. So Microsoft Excel, when they not recommends, or neither I do advise for the same, then what is the best option? How to bring the discount? So now the question is, without creating the source data sheet with the discount column, if I need to create a discount column in pivot table itself with application of my formula, how to create it? So keep your cursor in your grand total. Keep your cursor in your grand total. Go to pivot table analyze. You may be having analyze or pivot table analyze depending upon the version of Excel. Don't worry. So go to that button, menu options, and there you have an option in the calculations group. In the calculations group, there is an option called fields, items, and sets. Fields, items, and sets. If you click that inside, you'll be finding calculated field. So able to get your calculated field, people? Please confirm.
Yes.
So when you get your calculated field over here, it will take you to a dialog box called insert calculated field, where the first criteria is the name. Name. What should be the name of the new field we are going to add? What's the name?
Discount.
So please provide. Then next criteria, formula. Whatever is there written over there, please delete, make it clean. We are going to customize our own formula. So kindly delete the formula column, whatever is there. Now, for discount, what is the formula we have discussed? 5% on the billing column.
5%.
Yeah, billing column. So billing column, can you see one sales USD field is there in the field list box?
Yes.
Double click upon that. When you go for double click, it will automatically embedded in the formula box. Can you see?
Yes.
Multiply. How many percentage?
5%.
So go and define 5%. So what we did, we have gone for different naming the field discount, then sales USD, double click on this, then 5% we have defined, then finally you have to go and click OK and see the beauty. The moment you go for this, what happens? A column will be going to create over here, naming called discount over there. And it's not only going to create a total discount column over here, of course, it is going to create the year-wise discounts as well. So 2014, 15, 16, whatever the discounts, you can compare with the billing column. So this is what the beauty people, you don't need to go and create a separate column for that. And what's the advantage of doing this is, see, by default, it goes to the value area. So it is intelligent enough to understand where this field has to be retained. So we don't need to go for a separate task for doing the things manually. And the beauty is, if you see the source data sheet, know where discount column is going to be created. So this is called your virtual field or calculated field, and n number of fields, if you wish, you can create. There is no restrictions for that. And that's the story of our pivot table number 6. Any doubt, any queries?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So we are done with our pivot 6. Then let's go for right click on pivot 6 sheet name and then move or copy. Create a copy checkbox you can activate and click OK. So one more pivot turns up. You can rename the same as pivot table number 7. So discount work is over. You can deactivate the discount field. Now, once you have done with this, let us go and discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. So over here, stay focused with my storyline, what I'm asking. Suppose say, this is what our friend Komal has presented. Looking at the same Pranjal is saying, Komal, this pattern is really good. I like it. Last 3 years revenue data in 3 different columns and the entire products in the rows. This pattern I like the most. But you have given me only one pivot table. Well, now what Pranjal is saying, the pattern should be like this. Detail should be like this, but I want salesman wise pivot table. I repeat, one pivot is not enough for Pranjali. She is asking to Komal, salesman wise pivot table you should prepare for me. So she's not happy with one pivot table. She's expecting multiple pivot tables based on the salesman. So how to create it? Hope the question is clear for everybody.
Yes.
Right. So in that case, how to do the job?
Do we need to calculate separately like salesperson and the total sales?
No, not like that. Data is already there. The pattern of pivot table is already there. It is fixed. So only thing is, if I have got 50 salesmen, you are expecting 50 pivot tables should be like this.
moving salesperson to filters and then creating.
Okay, moving salespersons to filter. Okay, I moved it. Then how to create that?
We can move it to the column also.
Okay, we moved it to the column. What happens when I move to the column? I'm getting the field name, but salesman name is not displayed. If I take it to the row also, pattern is disturbing. I don't want that.
Yeah.
So in this case, if I go to filter, somewhat I am safe. Pivot patterns remains the same. And above to pivot table, I'm also getting a salesperson filter over here, right? Suppose say this is what our friend Komal has explored and what she did. Now, while she is presenting the data to Pranjali, she said that Pranjali, if you want multiple pivot tables, do one thing. You go to this filter, you check salesman one, click OK. This is the data of salesman one. So only thing is you have to create a new Excel worksheet. You have to copy this pivot table. You have to paste it over there. And this is the task. Only thing is you have to repeat for number of times depending upon the number of salesman. This is how Komal has suggested to do the job to Pranjali. So Pranjali, are you happy the way Komal has suggested you to do the job?
No.
Definitely nobody will be. So what will be your reaction? How you are going to react in this case?
But it would like to be have more easier, like instead of clicking each and every salesperson, would like to see the details about it, like
okay,
the highest and performer or this way.
Right, perfect. So now the question is over here, when I suggested something like this to my boss, what he has reacted, I will take you through. My boss has listened the whole story, what I suggested to him, and he kept quiet for a while. He looked at me, he looked at my data also, and he gave a plastic smile. You know, plastic smile, the smile which is not natural. And he told me, Pravas, I'm really impressed with your smartness. The way you have diverted the entire responsibility towards me, I like that. Now, if I am going to do your work, let's do one thing. Tomorrow morning, when you come to office, please bring your resignation letter with you. I would be happy to sign on that. This is what my boss has reacted. So what you have understood from the story? We cannot ever divert our responsibility towards our seniors. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
So now, what is that he is expecting from me? Suppose my boss, I'm presenting something like this, what he is expecting from me. Let me take you through. So no need to be just doing anything. Please watch my screen. Have the basic understanding what he's looking for. Now, suppose say I am working with a global report, okay, and I have got near about 200 salesmen. So my boss is expecting the job from me. See the pain. First thing, job number one, my boss is expecting I should go and insert worksheets. How many people? 200. So 200 worksheets. First, I need to create. Second, job number two, copy pivot table and paste it. For how many times? For 200 people, 200 times. Job number three, select filter with salesman names. How many times? 200 times. So total 600 tasks as such. Still, it is not enough for him. Finally, he is expecting me that I should go and rename all the worksheets by the salesman name, and that too 200 times. Now just imagine, total how much task? 800. How much time it will be taking for you? If you were in my place, how much time it will be taking for you? Komal, what's your suggestion? How much time it will be taking for you?
2 hours.
2 hours. Can you do it? I will be giving you. I will be giving
more
you.
than that.
Yeah, I'll be giving you immediate 5,000 cash prize if you do it in 2 hours.
I just guessed it.
Okay, you guessed it. Okay, fine. That's what. Don't give a rough estimate like this. You'll be in trouble. Take always in the higher side to be in safer side. Always take the little bit of more time to recheck what you have done. Anyway, Swapnil, what's your opinion? How long it will be taking for you? Yes, Gautam.
Sorry, brothers. Can you repeat?
How much time it will be taking? The entire task, what I'm showing, if you look at
Yeah, it will take at least half a day.
minimum,
Half a day or maybe 1 day.
minimum 1 day it is required, isn't
Yeah.
it? The volume of task is
Yes.
so much, and definitely it will take 1 day. But the problem is my boss doesn't have that much of patience to wait for me for 1 day. But he has also no other options because his best teammate is saying that it will be taking 1 day. So obviously, when I took 1 day, do you think that I'll be able to complete it by 1 day? No. The other problems, I cannot ignore it, which you have never anticipated. I'll tell you what is that. When you are taking this much of sheets in one Excel workbook, system doesn't support sometimes. Shows the errors. What kind of errors? Excel not responding, Excel is restarted, Excel stopped working, Excel screen is hanged completely, or Excel is going to be crashed, or Windows is hanged. You have to restart your system. All these problems so many times we come across. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So having said all these things, I could not complete the task in 8 hours of time, which I have committed. Now think about my productivity. Definitely there will be a big question mark. And my boss is going to pass a negative statement in the KRA report. And when KRA report is negative, this is going to give an impact to my appraisal form also. Do you agree? Right.
Yes.
Now, having said all these things, the things are not working technically. Trust me, people, this is one more painful task. And why my boss is asking literally to do such kind of voluminous job, that we need to understand. It's not like something boss is asking and blindly I should keep doing it. Because unless and until I do understand the importance of this report, what kind of role this is going to play, I cannot give my value additions to the work. So I have to also think about it. I have to also analyze in this. So now, this entire task, why my boss is asking me. If you are thinking, okay, Prabhas, he wants to analyze how much target is given, how much actual achievement is made. He wants to collect the feedback from each and every salesman at the end of the year so that he can collect this feedback by sending individual statements to everybody. If you are thinking in that way, then you are in the right track. But that is not the fact. I will tell you why my boss is asking me to do such kind of voluminous task is basically he wants to make my life miserable, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So many times it happens. Anyway, jokes apart. So we have understood what is the importance of this kind of voluminous task, but how to do it? Let's go for it. So now the question is, stay focused. If I need to export my pivot table data into multiple reports on a click of button, how to do that? So the first thing first, based on which field my boss is expecting the report, based on the salesman. So please bring salespersons to the filter area. This is the first step. Now, once you bring it over here, you can see above to the pivot table, salesperson contains a filter button. Don't click on that filter button, just select the cell.
Okay.
And once you select, go to your analyze or pivot table analyze menu options. Here, the first option from the left, it deals with the pivot table name. Okay. And in that pivot table name below to that, there is an options tab. Don't click the options tab also. Next to option, you have a small navigation button. Able to see?
Yes.
If you click, it opens up with 3 different options. Options, show report filter pages, generate get pivot data. So go for the second option, show report filter pages. And when you click that, it will take you to a dialog box where which field is in selection, salesperson. And my boss is also expecting based on the salesperson. Of course, yes. Click OK and see the beauty. With immediate effect on your Excel workbook, you can see the pivot table is created with the pattern you are looking for. Filter is already selected with the salesman name. And if you look at the sheet tabs also, it is generated with the salesman name. See the beauty on a click of button, right? So this is called life savior option of our pivot table, people. I have seen Trust me, literally, I have seen people sitting and doing the copy paste work at the year end. So, no need of that. Any point of time, department wise report, customer wise report, product wise report, vendor wise report, business unit wise report, anything you want, you can export from pivot table. Going to help a lot, save a lot of time. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Right. I believe this is working for everyone. Any questions on pivot 7?
Okay.
Right.
Yes, got it.
All right then. So now let us go to our pivot table number 7. Right click upon the sheet name, move or copy, create a copy checkbox you can activate and click OK. So one more pivot turns up, you can rename the same as pivot table number 8. So salesperson work is over. You can deactivate salesperson.
Yeah.
Now, let us discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot. Okay. Sometimes what it happens, people, we have to work around with some date related fields in pivot, like our invoice date, work order date, purchase order date, date of joining of the employee, anything, something date related fields if you have, how to deal with the same in pivot and how to present our data effectively, we are going to discuss that. So let's do one thing. The unwanted fields, let's deactivate. Product description, deactivate. Year, deactivate. Can you see one order date field is there above to sales USD?
Yeah.
That you bring it to the row area. And you will be getting the report like this as I am showing on the screen. What it happens, this is the default format from 2016 onwards of the version I'm talking about, not the year. So 2016 Excel version and onwards, you will be finding always the date related records comes with automatic default grouping like this. But that doesn't help us. So what we need to do first, right click on any of the year in the pivot table, right click on any of the year, go for ungroup, ungroup. So automatically what will be happening, the date wise individual records will be displayed on the screen. But the problem is this is running in pages and this is not the ideal way to present our pivot report. So what we can do, right click on any of the dates in the order date column, right click upon any of the date. You have an option called group. You have an option called group. And when you click on the group, a dialog box appears where the first invoice date and the last invoice date is populating. And below to that, you can see the classifications like how you want to categorize your date. By default, month is in selection. Let it be. Choose years also because we want to categorize our year data as well. So go for month and year selection only and go and click OK. So with immediate effect, can you see your date column now it is structured with year wise, month wise, your revenue data. So this is called your grouping options. Hope you are getting the same structure. Please confirm.
Can you repeat again the grouping?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you receive your date-wise records? Did you receive?
Yes.
Fine. If you receive the date-wise records, keep the cursor in any date group.
Okay. Got it.
Then select your years also out of that and click OK. So year-wise, month-wise records, it comes up. But when our friend Komal is presenting the same to Pranjali, Pranjali is looking at the data, but she has an expectation. What is that? She is telling Komal, why don't you create one more hierarchy and showcase my each and every month wise what are the date related records? Like suppose in the month of 2014, January month, there are total 10 invoices. So those invoice dates also she is looking for. So she is not looking for a consolidated invoice for the month of Jan. Whatever the individual records are there for the month of Jan, that she wants to see. So that is called one more hierarchy, how to create. So year wise, month wise, day wise records. That's called your one of your hierarchy. Okay. If that is the case, how to bring the date related records? Simple. Right click on any of the year, same grouping option. And then can you see one option called days above to the month? It is there, but not selected, right?
Yeah.
So just select and click OK and see the beauty. Immediately, one more hierarchy of your report is going to be generated. Each and every month wise, whatever the records it is created, the individual invoices, that is also going to be listed over here. So that is the right way or the expression of your date related information any point of time in pivot you want to display. You can customize like this. That's the story of our pivot table number 8. Any questions?
No.
All right, kindly save all your workbooks, people. Let's do one thing. Right click on pivot 8 sheet name, move or copy, create a copy checkbox you can activate and click OK. So one more pivot turns up, you can rename the same as pivot table number 9. Now, here one thing, please stay focused. See, the moment you have gone for our order date to customize like this, what it generates, this generates another 2 extra columns for you, like months and years. See, we have a ready-made year and month also. This is our in source data sheet it is generated. This is the default columns we do have in our raw data or source data. But these 2 columns, it is generated out of your date column. So this is called again your virtual field or not the real-time field. These are the virtual fields. Okay. So whenever you want to bring your again year-wise, month-wise record, you should choose from this, not from this. Okay. So this is what one thing you have to keep in your mind. That's it. Now, once you have made it, let us deactivate all these fields like months, years, order date. Then bring product description to the rows, year, not years, year to the columns. Okay. So pivot 9 we'll discuss after a short break of 10 minutes. So in my system, it is 4, 5. 4:15. Again, we are going to resume our session. You can have a brisk and come back soon. We'll discuss the rest. Well, people, I believe everybody's back. Could you please respond in the chat box? Wait for yes.
Yes.
Okay. Fine then. So now we are going to discuss in our pivot table number 9, what we can do with regard to pivot. We are going to discuss that. See, one more beautiful thing about pivot I would like to tell you. But before that, please stay focused on my screen and let us discuss something. The moment we started our training, I told you this is of last 3 years data we have taken. It's a huge data, right? Suppose my boss asked me, Prabhas, I don't want to see the entire records. Please show me only 2016 year, and that too, only Indigo related records. So my boss is saying year must be 2016 and the product with regard to Indigo. If that is the case, then what we do? We go to our year, we go for our filter only for 2016. Okay. Then we go to product. Again, we go for filter and we choose Indigo. So this is how when you present it, now my boss, what he does, he just select the data like this. And in the status bar, he just checks 10,29,488. This is how he does repeatedly. So whenever he wants to check any such kind of combinations of the data of different years, different products, or anything else, then he has to do the filter operation. And finally, he has to check like this in the status bar. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So this is what a repetitive task, isn't it? And if it is needed also for him, what we do, we copy that data, we send it across by pasting it in our outbox, in our Outlook email body, and we send it across. This is how we do in the corporates when we do the internal communications. Any point of time, we go and present our data in this format. Fine, all set, all good. I'm not denying. But this is actually a tedious process. I will tell you what is the best way to present your records if this kind of things are coming up or time and again some new requirement comes up. You don't need to go and keep on sending all the time. What you can instruct, what you can guide to the people, I'll tell you, and how you can save your time. Let's focus. No need to do anything. Just look at my screen, please. So boss was asking, which year? 2016. Which product? Indigo. Do we have that Indigo? Yes. Can you see the same total it is reflecting in the pivot also? Right, people? In pivot also, do you see the same total? What we discussed over there in our source data, is it showing the same total over here? Right? Now, see the beauty. Just go to that total of 2016 and Indigo cell and double click upon that. Immediately, you'll be getting exactly same set of phase of data will be populating in a new sheet. So this is our 2016 and the product is over here, Indigo, right? So 2016 Indigo, a separate setup of our report or data it generates and it stores. So what you have understood from this exercise, from pivot 9, what I did, what you have understood, whatever it is, you please share it.
That by clicking on one particular cell in the pivot, we can get the entire data for that particular specification for against the product or year.
Okay. Any other inputs, people? Anybody else? Well, I'll make it more precise. This data, whatever it comes in this sheet, what I am showing, how it is being generated, where it comes from. This entire data, what it comes in a new Excel worksheet, when I double click, from where it is coming actually.
Summary.
That's what the truth we believe, but that's not the fact. Technically, this is
From the
generating from pivot table. It is not depending upon your source data. So what we have understood from the exercise is whenever you are sending a pivot table, you don't need to send your source data or raw data along with the table. Just send the pivot table alone, that's enough. And any point of time, suppose from the other side, people are demanding, Prabhas, how did you create this pivot table? Could you please send me the data? I don't need to send the data again. You can ask him that go for double click on the grand total. It will generate the entire 3 years data. So this is what the beauty of pivot table. So what's the beauty? Pivot itself hold the data all the time in the back end. So when you are sending pivot table alone is enough. You don't need to send your source data, making your attachment size heavy and file size heavy. Hope you are clear with that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now, right click on pivot 9 sheet name, move or copy, create a copy checkbox you can activate and click OK. So one more pivot turns up, you can rename the same as pivot table number 10. Now, let us discuss something, what else we can do with regard to pivot. So let me first take you through our sheet called summary table. Okay. Now here, if you remember, we have taken last 3 years data from our SAP, right? Now for the time being, assume that this is not pertinent to last 3 years data. It is just 1 year data or current year data, only 1 year data, assume in that way. Now taking this entire data, assuming that it is of 1 year data, suppose my boss asked a question, Prabhas, get me a simple report, month-wise revenue. Month-wise revenue. So out of 1 year data, month-wise revenue data, my boss happens to see. Okay, so what we can do for that? So going back to our pivot, deactivate the unwanted columns like year, product description, and take month, not months, not plural. I told you this months field are calculate field from the order date column. So we should not take this. Month is our real field. So we should take month to the row area. And the moment you take month to the row area, can you see a beautiful report turns up month-wise revenue? Please confirm.
Yes.
Now, month-wise revenue report is ready. But what we have prepared, anybody can do that. It's not something extraordinary we did so that people would be completely mesmerized by looking at your report and they will be giving a compliment. No way. Nobody will do that. So now the question is to make some value additions to this data, how to make it more informative? What can be done over here? Yes, people, anybody? Yes, people, I told you, you are ready to answer. Just recollect day one, day two, whatever we discussed, based on that only, I'm asking a story. Sorting. Okay, Swapnil is saying sorting. I'll come to that sparkline, no issues. First, let me just clear. Swapnil is saying sorting. Swapnil, we cannot sort this data because this is a timeline based data. If I sort, my month also will get disturbed. Do you mind that? Right, Swapnil?
Comparing in a percentage, like out of total, how much percentage the month has captured?
Great one. So we can present our data in percentage. Okay, good. What else? For your information, did you recall that in our
The growth per month.
yeah, that's a good one. Month and month growth can be done. If you remember, in our day one, we did something like data presentation. How to make our data informative. Able to recall?
Yes.
The same
Yes.
thing, it is needed. As I told you the other day, this is inherent by the nature of the data. You no need to go and wait. Someone's demand should be there, then only you should present it. This you should present by yourself from your side. So now the requirement is over here. As we discussed the other day, when you are presenting the data revenue in terms of numbers, billions, millions, lakhs, crores, maybe my immediate boss would be happy. But when I'm presenting the data to the management, revenue percentage is required. This is what we discussed the other day. So now the requirement is how to create this revenue percentage in pivot table. Well, all these things people believe that we can prepare only in normal Excel worksheet. So now we are going to make it different, doing the same thing, but in pivot table. So people will be surprised. How did you create all these things in pivot table? That's what we want. So let's see now how to create a column, provide the data revenue in percentage. So 1 minute, just watch my screen, observe what I'm doing, understand. Next 1 minute, I'll be giving time to work. Don't worry. So in our value area, you'll be finding sales USDs there. Okay. I will take sales USD one more time to the value field area. A new field turns up. You can see also. I will just keep the cursor on the header, right click upon the same. I'll go for a option, show values as, and there we have a option, percentage of grand total. Second option from the top, percentage of grand total, and see the beauty. Immediately my data will be converted into percentage and I need to change the name. So what should be the name? Name should be revenue percentage. Can you see that? And how to confirm the total? Is it showing 100%? Yes, we are in the right track. So please give it a try. Ring sales USD.
Yes, got it.
Right click upon the column header. Show values as and percentage of grand total.
Yeah.
All clear, people? Any questions from anybody?
Clear.
Right. Now, the moment we have done with this, next, what is the requirement? As we discussed the other day, we need to go for finding the growth column, like comparing the data month and month, and we should say the result. Okay. So now the question is how to create such kind of growth column to showcase the data month and month comparison. So again, sales USD, I'll be taking it one more time to the value field area. 1 minute, you watch my screen, right click on the column header, show values as, we have an option called difference from. So when I go for difference from, this will be giving me a dialog box where it demands me base field is showing month. So what is the meaning by base field? Base field is nothing but the first column of our tabular data, pivot table. This is base field. Is it month? Yes.
Starting.
Now base item. Base item is something. Do you take January month data as a base and you start comparing? No. How do we compare our data from the previous month? So go for the drop down of base item, choose the option previous out of this. And the moment you do it, click OK. And now you got your data ready. So this is called your growth. So month and month growth, it is ready now. So please give it a try and confirm this is working.
And same thing, we can convert it to the percentage also, right?
Yes. We are
going Control Shift 5 that we can.
No. Now,
Alt Shift 5.
No. Control Shift 5 only percentage, but now not this column can be converted into percentage. We have to go for different one. We'll do that.
Okay.
Yes, got it.
All right. Now, growth in terms of value, maybe my immediate boss would be happy watching the same. The other day we discussed also that growth, maybe my immediate boss would be happy, but when I'm presenting my data to the management, I need the growth in terms of percentage. So now the objective is in pivot table, how to create a new column naming called growth percentage. Let's take one more time sales USD to the value area. 1 minute, please watch my screen. Again, keep the cursor in the header, show values as. You can see below two difference from percentage difference from one option is there. You can take that. And now base field is the month. Yes, of course, base field is the month. Base item over here should be previous. And the moment I click OK, with immediate effect, one more column will be ready and growth percentage. So this is how I can name it one more column as growth percentage. Check it out.
Done.
Yeah.
So this is how we have understood that how to create another column over here, naming called growth percentage. Now, if you recollect the other day, what we did, next column is we have prepared one more column naming called YTD. YTD, I told you, what is the expansion of YTD? Anybody?
Year to.
Yeah, year to till date. Starting from the year beginning till now, whatever it is, that is called year to till date. So that is nothing but called our cumulative value or accumulation of the data. Same thing we are going to create now. So take sales USD one more time. A new column turns up, right click on the column header. Show values as, you will be finding an option called running total in. What's that? Running total in. And when you go for running total in, this is going to give me a dialog box like this. Base field. What is our base field? I told you base field is nothing but the first column of our data is the month. Yes. Now click OK. And you got your data cumulative. So I told you how to confirm that our YTD column data, whatever the calculations we made, we are in the right track. So when you go to the December month, is it matching with my revenue column total?
Yes.
So we are in the right track. So this is how people, we have understood that whenever there is a need, how to add one more column naming called YTD. So please give it a try and let me know, is it working?
Yes, it's working.
Okay. So all clear people so far, whatever we discussed? Any doubt, any queries, or anybody is not able to do it, need my support?
Clear on my side.
Okay. Now, YTD in terms of value, maybe my immediate boss would be happy watching the same. This is what we discussed the other day also. But when I'm presenting my data to the management, what they're expecting, same YTD, but should be in percentage. So this is what our next requirement. Well, let's go for it then. So keep this cursor over here, pivot, sales USD, bring one more time and populate over here. New column turns up, right click upon the column header, show values as exactly below to running total in, you will be finding an option percentage running total in. Okay. When you go for it, it will again ask me, where is your base field? Base field is the month only. No need to do any changes. Now, when you go and click OK with immediate effect, you will be finding the data will be turned up over here in terms of percentage. And this is nothing but my YTD percentage. And I told you YTD percentage column, how to check it and confirm we are in the right track. When you go to the month of December, YTD percentage, is it matching with my revenue percentage column total?
Yes.
So we are in the right track. So this is how people, what we did the other day in a normal Excel worksheet, the same thing we can do with the pivot. And this is what people are expecting. And when you do it in pivot, this is the place where you are making a difference. So is it done?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, once you have done with this over here, trust me, how people are going to be surprised, I'll tell you. Sometimes people will be thinking, how did you create so many fields? Where these fields has come from actually? And sometimes some people go back to your source data to check it out. Is it something you have created in the source data over here? Something? So they will go and check summary table over here. And is there any such kind of columns you have created? No, there is no such kind of columns. So that is what people will definitely, somebody will be asking a question to you. Prabhat, everything is fine, but how did you create all these things? Where did you get all these columns? Because nowhere it is listed in the field list also. So this is what the beauty. People should ask us, how did you create it? We should tell them after that. So this is the place where, my friends, you can make a lot of difference. So taking the live data, keep practicing, and this is very much essential. As I told you, it's not confined to accounts, finance, production planning, anywhere, any department you are working with, this is needed. Hope it is clear.
Yes.
But what we did, anybody can do that. Am I right?
Yeah.
Because that is the simple feature of pivot. And the person who is aware of these features, he also can design something like that. Is it something extraordinary or something unique or something different you did? No. Whatever it is, the same features only we are using them. So now the question comes, how to make our presentation different from others? So this is what I have always been emphasizing upon since the day one, correct? So what can be done?
Visualize like graphical.
Okay, what kind of visualization you can apply over here? See, Always remember one thing, whatever the visuals you are using, that should be a supplement or a add-on to the message. It's not like something I have the numbers and I have to express in a visuals, but you only understand that when you are conveying the message to the people, people cannot connect with the same fashion. Then there is no point, isn't it? So you should add the visuals in such a way. It should be connecting to the data in proper way and people should understand what you are going to convey. Even though in your absence also, people can read themselves and they can understand.
Yeah.
So what can be done? That's what I told you. You are ready for that. So nothing new. What you have learned.
Yeah, to set up an icons.
That's a good one. Where to put the icons?
In growth.
In growth column. Okay. So growth column, I'll go and put an icon over here. So going to home, conditional formatting, icon sets. If I go and apply something like this, how this is going to be add on to the data.
The yellow one is still showing not clear.
That's what we discussed in our day 2 also, isn't it?
Yeah, yes.
Right. And there is no point when your data is there, when you are presenting your data along with the icons, I have to again expand the column like this. So it will be not showing the proper or a uniform column width over here. This is one more problem. So do not ever present your data in this format. Okay, I'll tell you how to present it. So nothing new over here. What we have learned, the same thing I'm going to add it. So please connect with my data, watch my screen for a minute. What I'm doing, please observe. Next 1 minute, I'll be giving time to you work with, don't worry. So please watch my screen. See, I will take this sales UST one more time to the data set, okay? Now what I'm going to do, basically, whatever the growth column we have created, taking the option, here also the same I'll be taking. Right click, show values as difference from. And then base field is the month, base item is previous, yes. And once I got this, I'll be naming it as visual. And I will select only the data, not the blank cell, only the data. Going to home, conditional formatting, icon set, and I'll be taking one rule out of this. And I told you, you cannot take this rule as it is. You have to go for application of the same by customizing the rule. How? Going to home, conditional formatting, manage rules. Absolutely right. Going to edit rule. First, you need to change the data type from person to number. Here also person to number. Then green color triangle option will be allowed when value is greater than equal to 0. No, I want only greater than 0. Then show icon only checkbox needs to be activated. That's it. And once you go and click OK, again click OK. See the beauty? Your visual column is ready. But the problem is over here, my growth column is over here, but visual column is over here. Do you think that this is an ideal way of presentation?
No.
So it should be adjacent to each other, correct?
Yeah.
So how to bring it? Let's see. You can take this. So stay focused. See, when I keep my cursor in that visual column header, I am getting a thick plus symbol. This is called cell selection button. When I take this little bit bottom right corner, I'm getting one more plus symbol, very thinner one. This is called drag button, cell drag or drop. When I take this little bit up, can you see one navigator, 4 directional arrow key options I'm turning up? I'm getting that. So this is called cell navigation button. So holding the cell navigation, hold your cell and take it little bit left. Like this, you can drag it. And after growth, when you see this kind of thick color, green color symbol, a line like this, you just release your mouse and you got your visual column ready. So this is how now, the moment you go for this over here, you have got a add-on to the data. People will love to see that. So people will ask you also, how did you create this visual column? That's what we want. They should ask us, right? So please give it a try and check it out. Is it working for you? Anything is missing, you please ask me.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So everybody's clear? Anybody still struggling or need my support, unable to do it? Feel free to ask because all these things are necessary.
Yes, got it.
Okay, very good. Yes, friends, I got to confirmation. How about others? All right, so as I assume that everybody is clear with our pivot table number 10, whatever the exercise we did. So let's do one thing. Right click on pivot 10 sheet name, move or copy, then create a copy checkbox you can activate and click OK. Okay. So rename the same as pivot table number 11. And let's see now what else we can do with regard to pivot table. So first of all, let us deactivate all the unwanted fields. All the unwanted fields, like if you see in our value area, there are so many fields over here, right? So how to remove everything at once? You cannot do it at once. You have to go and select only one by one. You can bring it back or you can reactivate or you can remove it. I'll tell you very best option. See, don't do anything in the value area. Just go to your columns area. Can you see one sigma value, one option is there in columns area?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
alone you hold and drag it back and see the beauty. Entire value area will be cleaned at once.
Yeah.
Now deactivate the month field. And then the first pivot table, whatever we have created, let's go and bring the back field. Sales USD, bring it to the values. Product description, bring it to the rows. Year, not years, year, bring it to the columns. So we got our first pivot ready again. All right, people, everyone is ready with pivot 11?
Yes.
Right. Now, once this is done, let's go on discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot. So now we are going to discuss one of the beautiful concept of our pivot table is called dashboard. So now we are going to create a dashboard using pivot table. So you would have heard this terminology quite often in the corporate world or the industry, wherever you are working with. Whenever you present your data with many more files, people don't like it. And what they expect in return, they say, why don't you create just a one pager file or one report only? You are always coming up with a bunch of files. Do you believe that I have got the whole day to go through it? It really creates a lot of confusion. So people demand a dashboard. Sometimes you would have also heard in your teammates, whenever they prepare a report, they call it as, okay, hey, I have created a very beautiful dashboard. Whenever you present your data or your customer to your vendor, to your stakeholders, to your global leaders, they also expect you should present your data in a dashboard format. So what is the meaning by dashboard? So dashboard is nothing but it's a single page window report. One page in a window, it will be there maximum, and the report will be telling the entire story to the people. And when you talk about dashboard, it consists of three elements. One, there should be a drop down list. So drop down list will be giving a privilege to the user to select the drop down. And once the variable is selected, there should be a tabular data. And based on the tabular data, there should be a charts and graphs. So when you have all these three elements in a particular interface or worksheet, that report can be called or classified as a dashboard. So overall, you got an idea, theoretical understanding, what is dashboard. Can I take that?
Yes.
Right. Now I'm going to show you some dashboards which will be giving more clarity, and you'll be also clear what is our aim we are going to achieve, what we are up to, and what is the benefit of doing that, and what we are going to get out of that, everything. So no need to do anything. Next 2 minutes, just watch my screen, what I'm doing, and try to relate to our data. Okay. So now I'm going to show you some dashboards, some ready-made dashboards. So first I'm going to take you through one HR dashboard. Okay. Now see, this is a sophisticated dashboard of on one organization, and the dashboard is belong to the HR department. Now I'll take you through the elements, whatever we have used. So you could see a box where the entire name of the departments are listed over here. Okay. Below to that, suppose the organizations, they have got multi-cities office or presence is there. So that city names also listed over here. Last 9 years data we have taken over here to analyze and presented information. Below to that, the list of employee names, whoever are there in my organizations, that name is also available. And based on that, some tabular information and different types of charts and graphs like line, column, pie, bar, everything over here. All right. Now, this is just one pager report. How it works, I'll tell you. Now, suppose say any point of time, I want to know what is the headcount or what is the trend of headcount for my HR department in the last 9 years. So I'll go and select HR from here and see this chart is going to be changed. You just focus with the chart when I'm changing the HR. Can you see now? Is it changing the chart trend?
Yes.
Similarly, if I want to know in HR department in the city Los Angeles, how is the headcount trend? So this chart is going to change when I operate. Department is human resource, city is Los Angeles. Automatically, this chart is changing. Similarly, if I want to know in human resource department, Los Angeles city for the year 2006, what is the breakup of salary? So this breakup is going to change when I select 2006 year, and based on this chart, and this chart is going to be changed. See, when I go for HR, Los Angeles 2006, this is what the status. So automatically everything is happening. So I'm just controlling my entire information from this area. Can you see all these things are happening?
Yeah.
So this is called one of the sophisticated dashboard. But yes, this is just a one-time investment. It needs time. It's not like just put the formula, get the answer. You have to invest your time. But trust me, once you made it, people are going to use it for whole life. To set an example. So this will be definitely an asset for the company. And to create this, of course, you should have the ample data, 9 years data. It's not a joke. We should have that. Then only we can play around. Then 90% calculations is our pivot table calculations only. Nothing new, nothing some rocket science over here we are doing. Very easy. But only thing is we have to be very patient enough while creating that. Now, other things you can see the ready-made list. Suppose tomorrow I complete the business for 1 more year. I will be keep updating the year, and from the bottom, from the top, I can leave 1 more year. So I'll keep on upgrading the records like this. And any new department comes up, or the companies they have started up new office in any other city. So those city names to be updated, or any other department is newly introduced, that name to be updated. Any employee leaves the company, that name I have to eliminate. Any employee joins the company, I have to again update my records. For that reason, this list is also maintaining over here in the data is necessary. And trust me, this is the output can be achieved out of that. People pay a hefty amount to create or get it done by some third party. Trust me, each and every dashboard, people spend near about 20 to 25,000 rupees for that. Each and every dashboard. But when you do the same, definitely it will be an asset for the organization. Some people will love to see such kind of reports. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Right. Now I'm going to take you through one more dashboard regarding a sales related dashboard, which you can connect also again, just see. So I'm going to take you through one sales dashboard over here. So you can see the entire charts and graphs in the upper side which is available, and below to the charts and graphs you'll be finding the details like month, product category, sales representative, regions wise reports, everything over here. Now any point of time, if I want to see what is the status of Eastern zone, I go and click Eastern, automatically entire chart will be reflecting the story of Eastern zone. Now, if I want to know in Eastern zone, what is the performance of Jenny Paul? So Jenny Paul, one is my salesman. So I'll go for Jenny Paul, and this is what the status of Jenny Paul. So can you see everything is happening on your click of your options. So we are going to create more or less something like this. Okay. So this is again called dashboard. So now the question is, are you ready for this?
Yes.
Do you think that it is going to help you?
Yes, of course.
Are you interested in learning the same?
So much.
Good. How about the others? I could see only one voice. I could hear only one voice.
Yes.
It will be of great help.
Definitely. So let's go and begin the journey. See, first of all, whenever you want to create a dashboard, you have to always follow two rules. Rule number one, in your dashboard, whatever the objects you are using, the alignment should be accurate, pinpoint accurate. And second rule, whenever you are using the objects, it should contain some kind of high definition colorful buttons, because those things adds more beauty to the dashboard. You would have seen any dashboard, some high definition, high gradient colorful buttons would be there. So these two rules always you have to follow. Okay. Now keep your cursor above to the pivot area. Keep your cursor above to the pivot area. Insert a row. How to insert a row? Alt I R. One by one. Alt I R. I for insert, R for rows. And to repeat the last action, F4. So create some 10 to 15 blank row items above to the pivot area. So we'll go step by step confirmation.
Only F4 or Alt F4?
No.
Function F4.
No. In your keyboard, if your keyboard is not a direct key F4, like the moment you go for the dollar symbol application, what you used to do?
Yes.
Function
F4.
So same thing now also you have to do function F4.
Okay.
Could you repeat? I was on the Excel file instead of the screen while you were showing. Sorry.
Okay. You have to go to above to the pivot table and hit Alt I R one by one button. If you press, it will be helping you to insert a row. Did you get a row inserted?
Yes.
Then to repeat the last action of inserting rows action, go for F4 and keep hitting F4. It will start inserting the rows.
Okay.
So create some 10 to 15 blank row items above to the pivot data. Now, once you have done with this, keep your cursor anywhere in pivot and go to your analyze or pivot table analyze. Depends upon the version of your Microsoft Excel. And there you will be finding an option called insert slicer. Insert slicer. Click on that. And once you go and click on that, it will take you to a dialog box like this. We have seen a glimpse of that in our day 2. If you remember, in the data arrangement sheet, we have converted the data into table and department wise records. We are able to see HR, admin, finance, all these things we are able to see. So today we are going to discuss the same in depth. So now, slicer. What is the meaning by slicer? Slicers is nothing but it works like a filter button. So whatever we do with a normal filter course of action, the same thing you can do with slicers also. But only thing is, this will be visual filter button. You can see all the filter items and you can click on that. That is the only difference. But the moment you are thinking to integrate the same with pivot table, you got to follow a rule. And what is the rule says, whatever the field already taken in pivot table, like year, product description, sales USD, you should not choose again from the slicer box because those things are already there in pivot. So if you take it, it will be simply amounting as a duplication of fields, nothing else. So technically it is not required. But yes, if you want, you can have it. There is no hard and fast rule. So now, apart from the pivot table fields, anything else I want to work with, I should take it. Like, I want to see customer-wise data. So I have checked customer. I want to see salesman-wise analysis also I want to do, salesperson. I want to see region-wise data. That also I have taken. I want to see the records for the month-wise, not months, month. So I repeat, you can cross-check customer, salesperson, region, month. Have you selected all these slicers from the slicer box?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then go and click OK. You'll be getting 4 boxes. These are nothing but slicers. So now the objective is we need to take the slicers and we need to arrange the space, whatever we have created. Okay. Now to select a slicer, you should take the slicer name and select, and then you hold it and drag it and you can take it like this. So you can have your own order. It's not mandatory. It's not necessary that you should have my order only. You can take your own order also. And please align them.
Okay.
Yes, people, could you please confirm? I told you step by step we'll go for this because I cannot come back again. For those who have done, either unmute and say yes, or you can drop me a message in the chat box. D for done. Okay, so Pranjali and Komal, they have done. Okay, Subhamita also done. How about others? Swapnil also done. Very good. Okay, so Gautam also done. Very good. Jijo. Jijo and Gangadhar. Okay. Fine then. Now, once we have done, please stay focused for a minute. Though we have created the slicers, but the problem is the slicers are not giving such a great look. So we need to go and change the look and feel of our slicers. So little bit cosmetics works we need to do with regard to the slicers. How to do that? Let's see. When I select a slicer, can you see one tab is activated called slicer, or you might be having slicer options or design depending upon the versions of Microsoft Excel. Extreme right is dealing with your slicer tab. Okay. Now you can see many more slicer styles are available. So go for more option and it opens with two different categories, light and dark. Earlier there was one more category called medium. If you recall, format as table, pivot table, all these cases we have seen already, right? And I told you, always take light or medium. And since medium is missing, which one we should take?
Light.
Lighter.
Okay. But technically, here we need to take the dark. Reason? I told you, in dashboards, you should have some high definition colorful buttons.
High color.
Right. So go and take one dark color. Again, take one more slicer and take one more dark color. So take one more slicer, again one more dark color.
The file size will be higher, right?
No, not it will not take that much of space. Only 4 slicers we are using the colors, not the entire file.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Now, once we have done with this, though we have got all our slicers converted into a beautiful, colorful kind of buttons, but the thing is, since it is having this kind of vertical scroll bars, this is not giving a great look. So now next objective is we need to remove the vertical scroll bars. How? Just see. Select one of the slicer. If you go for it, in the same tab, can you see one option called columns is there? Right, people? Are you getting the columns option?
Yes.
It is showing by default 1. So you can increase the column number and you can see the beauty. It automatically starts distributing the entire variables into multiple columns. So my customer earlier it was 1, now it becomes 3. Now, similarly, if I go for one more column over here, it becomes 4. But the problem is, no doubt it is distributed multiple columns, but the data is not visible, right? So what we can do, we can simply expand that particular slicer up to what extent where I could see all the customer names. We did it. Similarly, go to region and there also you can go for 3 columns. Salesperson, you can go for 3 columns. Name, month, 3 columns. So automatically what will be happening? This entire slicers, the vertical scroll bars will be removed.
Can you repeat it again, this part?
Yep. Select customer, go to that slicer columns. You can change 2, 3, 4, depends upon your variables. So customer, I change it to 4. Region, I selected. Again, I change it to 3. Salesperson, I have selected, again, I have changed it to 3. And month, again, I have selected and changed it to 3.
Okay.
Now, can I take that? Everybody has got this much of setup ready?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now, once you have done with this over here, select all the slices by hitting Control A. Now, once all the slices are selected, in the same slicer tab, can you see one option called Align is there? Align. In the Arrange group, one Align option is there.
Yes.
In that, go for Align Top first. Again, go to Align. You need to choose the option Distribute Horizontally. Why distribute horizontally? Because between the space, between the slicers, whatever the spacing also, that has to be uniform. That's why we have gone for distribute horizontally. Now, once you made this, all these things are fine what we did, but the problem is all the slices are left with some empty spaces in the bottom. Can you see that?
Yes.
So what we need to do now, having the selection with all the slicers from the bottom side, you can see a button is there that you hold it and drag it a little bit up, but ensure you are not regaining the status of your vertical scroll bars. And now your slices are ready. Final step, don't forget, very, very important. Having the selection with all the slicers, next to your align, grouping option is there. Able to see grouping option?
Yes.
Go for group inside. And this is mandatory. As I told you, this is the last step, which is very, very essential. If you do not do so, entire efforts or the time what we have made or invested over here, or the pattern what you created, the formatting, everything will be lost. So this is the reason why. Whenever you go and create this kind of slices, multiple slices, if you have used it, always make a group of the same. Hope it is ready.
Yes.
You can share the screen. That's what I told you. You can share the screen. I can guide you. No problem. So up to what state you are in. Okay, that's fine. Perfect. So you have taken this, this. Perfect. Now select one of the slicer. Control A. Go to your slicer tab in the extreme right ribbon menu. You have to go to align. Align top. Right. Then again align. Distribute horizontally. Right. Go to group. Next immediate group is there. Yeah. Then group it. That's it. Yes, people, everybody is clear.
Together.
Yeah. So all the rest of the trends, they are clear to this, what we did. Or anybody still struggling, need my support before proceeding further, do let me know.
Yes, clear.
Okay.
Align top, align horizontal.
Yeah, align top and distribute horizontally.
Distribute horizontal.
Yeah, and
Then grouping.
then finally group.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Now, once you have made it, between the slicers and pivot, some unwanted spaces are there. You can select that unwanted rows. And go for control minus. It will be asking a pop-up, choose entire row. So when you go for entire row and delete, the unwanted rows also will be deleted. Now this window towards your right side, pivot table fields, this is no more playing a role. You can deactivate this, you can close this, you can shut it down. And now what else is needed? As I told you, we have got 3 elements. So now one more element is missing called charts and graphs. So keep your cursor anywhere in pivot, and go to your pivot table analyze. And there fields, items and sets, we have gone for calculate field if you remember. Okay. So if you need calculate field here also you can create. But right now we are going for chart. So immediate right, can you see one pivot chart option is there?
Yeah.
If you click that, it will take you to your entire chart family. No need to do any changes. Directly go and click OK. And you got your chart ready. Same, you can take it, align next to the data, pivot table data, and extend the chart width exactly in line with our slicers. Hope it is clear.
Yes.
Now, once we have done it, then one thing I'll tell you, the beauty of pivot chart is you will be finding some ready-made filter buttons inside the chart area. Like your product description, one filter button is there. If you look at your right side, one year column filter is also there. So this is what you will be finding always in pivot table, not in your routine course of action or normal course of action of your charts. This is exclusively available only in pivot chart. And now, once you have the chart in place, go to your design button in the top, design. Okay. There we have got multiple styles. Go for the more option and choose the last one. So from style category, you have to choose the last one. Why the last one? Because if you take the last option compared to the other versions or the previous versions, what you had, this is somewhat going to look better in terms of intense effect or glossy impact. That's why it is advisable. Well, so once I go for this, my chart looks now some kind of shadow impact, glossy impact, or intense effect it is showing.
Yes.
Next. Yeah. Next, inside the chart area, some unwanted grid lines are there. That doesn't look good. Rather, it is making my chart location messy. So how to remove such kind of grid lines? See, when I select my chart toward the right side, I have a plus symbol. So you can click on that plus symbol and there is a small pop-up menu turns up and you can go for, there is an option called grid lines which checkbox is activated. You can deactivate that. Then click the plus symbol. Right. Now, once we have made all these things ready, as I told you, anybody can do this job. What we have been doing, Anybody can do that because all the features are available in pivot, correct?
Yes.
So now the time has come how to make our presentation different from others. So whenever you are creating such kind of dashboards, the unwanted stuffs, you should always remove it. Unwanted, like this ribbon options, what we have, this is unwanted. How to hide that? Control F1. If F1 is not a direct key, go for function control F1. Can you see your entire ribbon menu is hidden? The same key to bring it back. It's a toggle key. Control F1 to hide or unhide the ribbon. Yes, people, working?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
very good. Now, once this is done, next, what is unwanted? See the beauty. Keep your cursor anywhere in your blank cell. Keep your cursor anywhere in the blank cell. If you go to the view tab, in the view tab, can you see there are three options in the show category, three options: grid lines, formula bar, headings, all these checkboxes around. Please deactivate the same. So ultimately, what is happening now? What kind of feeling you are getting? As if a blank page is there and entire template is embedded on that. Can you get such kind of feeling?
Yes.
Now, once we have made it over here, next what can be done? See the beauty. Being a presenter, always remember one thing: never ever show multiple information to the audience. The more the information you show, the more the questions you are going to invite. So in our workbook, if you see, there are so many pivot tables we have created. So we should not show them. So what we should do with that? Something you would have thought upon? Yes, people?
Hide sheets.
Yes, we can hide the sheets. So we can hide all the sheets except pivot 11, where we are working, where is actually our business is there, where the core stuff is there, the information is there. That alone we should keep it open. Do you agree? Rest of things we can hide.
Yes.
Fine. Now suppose say I hide all those things. Whatever it is there, I have hidden. Okay. Now I am presenting something. Just look at my scenario. Look at my scenario. No need to do anything. I have hidden, as you said, as you suggested, I have hidden all my Excel sheets except pivot 11. I am presenting this report to my audience. Suppose in my audience, my vice president is sitting in front of me and I am presenting something, and by mistake or unknowingly or accidentally, my mouse right click is enabled something like this. So what is going to happen? Can you see on my screen?
Yes, unhide.
Yes, unhide option is on. So audience is smart enough to understand that if unhide option is on means there is something hidden. Do you agree with me? Anybody can know that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So now my vice president is asking me, Prabhas, why don't you go and click that unhide button? Can I say no? Can I say something to him, sir? Whatever you are looking for, this is there in pivot 11 sheet. Why you are asking unwanted questions? Can I say something like that to my vice president in the meeting?
No.
No way.
No.
So if I go for unhide, all my sheets are visible to him, and then he can ask me the questions. Go here, go there, what you created there, everything. Now he's interested to know over here, right? So now the question is over here. What is the point? We hide in such a way that anybody can unhide on a simple right click. Then doesn't make any sense. Do you agree?
Yes.
Hide in such a way that nobody can unhide that. Then it makes sense. then that's a beautiful thing we can arrange in our window, isn't it? So now we are going to explore something, a beautiful concept again. So instead of hiding the sheets over here one by one or multiple sheets, one more pane. While you unhide, you cannot unhide all the sheets at once except if you're there in MS Office 365. If you're in 2013, 2010, 2016, 2019, always you have to go and do it one by one. Have you ever realized that pain?
Yes.
So that's also a problem. So now what we are going to do, we are going to hide this entire sheet tabs. Nobody will be ever be knowing how many sheets are there, where is my working, where is my final summary. Nobody will be knowing except us. Just see how. Follow my instructions, please. Go to file. Can you see one options tab is there in extreme bottom, options?
Yes.
And when you go, you will be getting a Excel options dialog box on the screen. There, you have a category called advanced. And when you click on this advanced category, towards your right side, there is a scroll bar button is there. That button you just hold and drag it somewhere in the middle. You'll be finding a section called display. Display.
Yes.
And if you go to the next subsection of display group is called display options for this workbook is there. And there you have an option show sheet tabs. Checkbox is activated. Can you see? You have to deactivate that. And once you deactivate, finally you have to go and click OK. So let me take you through what you need to do. Go to file, first thing, then options, then you'll bring Excel options, then you'll be getting advanced. You have to scroll down somewhere in the middle. You'll be getting a section called display. Within that subsection called display options for this workbook, and then show sheet tabs option. Checkbox is not activated. You can see because the default will be always on. You have to deactivate now. And finally, you have to click OK. This is the exercise you need to do. And once you do this, check what is happening. Can you see the beauty? Entire sheet tabs is completely disappeared. Nobody will be able to be knowing how many sheets we are operating. What is our summary sheet? What is our working? Nobody will be knowing. So this is how we are controlling the information. We are controlling our audience also. Like what we are showing. Please focus on that. Don't ask unwanted questions. Isn't it? Hope it is clear, people.
Yes.
Right. Any questions?
So if we click on one of the section in any of the slicers, will the chart also change?
Of course, this is going to happen. Don't worry. Don't go for one step extra. What we have done, please ask that. We'll work together. Don't worry.
Okay. So far, it's wonderful.
Okay.
Very nice. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Yes, people, we all are in equal page now.
Page up.
Great. Now, please stay focused for 1 minute on my screen. Don't do anything. I'll be giving time to work with. See. Now, suppose say this is what I have created. My boss happens to see and he asked me, Prabhas, are you ready? Can we go to the presentation area? I said, yes, we are good to go. My boss invited me and then he has gone to the presentation area. He first greeted to the global leaders and then he gave a bit of icebreaker, the agenda programs he declared, and he asked me, Prabhas, please start the show. So I just opened these things by projecting in the screen and immediately my boss asked me, Prabhas, we are not interested watching last 3 years data as such. Just do me a favor, only show 2016 records. Okay, so I'll go to my year and I choose 2016 out of that. And immediately all the records with regard to 2016, it is available, no doubt. Now, Here, one thing over here, if you want to pass on information in terms of a storytelling, I told you, you can go for right click upon the same in the grand total, right click, sort, and largest to smallest. So this you could have done before stepping into the presentation area, not now, right? This is what always remember. What we did in pivot one, you should do it before stepping into the presentation area. Well, now see, again, I'm repeating. Going to 2016. So 2016, those who are interested watching the data in terms of numbers, they will be focusing with pivot table. And those who wants to give get an instant information, what's that? From Genex Nano 2016, we got the maximum revenue, and from Sumo Gold, we got the least revenue. Anybody can make out, no problem. Now, suppose say next to my boss in my audience side, my chief marketing officer is sitting, and he asked me one more immediate question. Prabhas, if this is the history of 2016, can you show me the performance of salesman 5? So a salesperson one slicer is there. If I go for SM5 with immediate effect, my salesman 5's results will be turning up on the screen. These are the following products in 2016 he has sold. Now, my chief marketing officer looked at the data, waited for a while, and asked one more immediate question. What is that? If this is the history of 2016 of Salesman 5, Prabhas, can you please show me his performance during the month of May? So I'll go to month slicer, I'll choose May, and this is what instantly giving the result. Only one product he has sold, that is called Hexa, and to whom the customer, Tuli Motors, which country? Africa. Can you see it? So everything is happening on a click of button. People are demanding, we are presenting the records, and things are happening in one interface. We are not navigating from one sheet to other, one file to other, nothing. Everything is happening in one interface. So that's called your dashboard. So when you integrate your pivot table with slicers and pivot chart, that is nothing but a dashboard. So please try this. Hope it is working. Any doubt, any questions in this, please feel free to ask. So Suamita, all your doubts clarified? You're asking questions?
Yes.
Great. So only thing is people taking the live data, you have to practice well all these techniques. You know your data better. You know your target audience also better. Only thing is you have to play around with your data and you need to finalize which output is giving a better view, enough information to the people so that they will be happy. And that comes out of your experience only. Microsoft has never created a tutorial. Okay, if you're working in HR, what should be the tutorial? If you're working in production or supply chain, what should be the tutorial? No. This is how you have to develop your practice. So if at all any questions are there, please let me know in this pivot 11.
I'm not getting Hexa in my
Okay.
data.
Please share the screen.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, let me just confirm what you have taken. Customer, salesperson, month, region. So region, it is showing, okay, this is 2016. Okay, fine. The moment we created the first pivot table, did you rectify your month column?
No, I did not do anything.
That's why the problem. Okay, you go to file.
File.
Same options. Go to advanced. Scroll down. display section when it comes. Just hold on there. Yeah, going down a little bit down. Yeah, show sheet tabs that you activate and click OK. Now go to summary table, the source data sheet. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. That's not the right way to go to or navigation in the sheets. Where you have done the clicking option, just go for right click, open that. Right click, right click. No, not in the sheet name. Yes, there you go, right click. Yeah, go for right click. Yeah. Can you see all the sheets listed, right?
Yes.
Now go down, summary table. Select, click OK. Right. Now month is there, Jan, Feb. So, okay. So your month is perfectly all right, not an issue. So primary things is clear. Okay. Now go to that sheet again, pivot 11, same fashion. Click OK. I guess OK is not getting clicked.
I think it hanged.
Oh. You have any other applications opened? You're working with MS Teams and Excel or any other application like your Outlook or Word document or PowerPoint, anything you have opened?
No. No. It's okay. I'll figure it out.
No problem, no problem, no problem. Go for Windows D. On your keyboard, press the Windows button and D button. Windows D.
And then?
No, that's what. Windows D, it will take you to your desktop. You have shared your screen or you have shared your window?
Shared my window.
That's the problem. You should share your screen. That's what I told you in the day one itself. Whenever you are sharing your screen, you should share your desktop or screen, not the window.
Share screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Then?
Fine. So now, close this file. Close this file, no problem. Close this file first.
Okay.
Not minimize. I said close. You're minimizing. Yeah, save it. Reopen.
Is it my system that is slow?
Yeah.
Okay. Need to clear the temp files and the cache maybe.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Hello.
Yep.
வேலை நீ ஏண்டி பாக்குற போய் மூடிக்கிட்டு இருக்க வேண்டியதான்ல அவன் எதுக்கு இப்படி அழுதுட்டு இருக்கான்
Yes, people, any other doubts, queries in this pivot 11 sheet?
I'm sharing my screen again.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So now,
So I'm
yeah,
yes.
now you operate 2016. Okay, now go for salesman 5. Yep. Now go for the month of May. Okay.
Okay.
You are not getting hexa because you have taken the data of month. That is the trouble in the pivot table. So you clear all these things from the, no, not here. Yeah. On the slicers. Yeah. Clear all the slicers first. Yeah. What you have taken? You have taken month data. So you should have taken the product data there, correct? So right click on that. Yeah. Right click. Show field list. Right. Now deactivate month out of that and take product to the row area. Product description, not type. Product descriptions to the row area. Right.
There.
Now you close this field, pivot table fields. Yes. Now you operate salesman 5 for the month of May.
There.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Finance.
Prakash,
Yeah.
for the slicer, moving the slicers closer, we have to just click on each slicer and move towards, right?
No, move. I could not get you. What is the question? Could you please repeat?
There is gap between each slices.
Yeah, you have to manually. Yeah, you have
manually
to. Yes, you can do that.
After ungrouping it.
Yes, after ungrouping it, you have to do all these things. Then again, select all the slicers. I told you alignment, go to align, distribute horizontally. So that automatically it will get adjusted.
Okay.
Then again, you have to regroup then.
Yeah.
Right. All right, friends. So here I'm taking the control back on the screen and we have understood that how to operate with this pivot table options so that we can create a beautiful dashboard on the same. And once our presentation is over, to restore our data, first of all, you can see whichever the slicers we have operated. Can you see one clear filter, one cone kind of structure is there in each and every slicer's top right corner? You have to keep clicking them so that it will start clearing all this data to restore it. Similarly, going to the charts also, we need to clear the filter and we got our data. All right. Now, what are the things we have deactivated? We have to restore. So first of all, the sheet tabs. Same option, going to file, options, advanced, scroll down to display and display options for this workbook, show sheet tabs. This needs to be activated. And then click OK. Now, what are the things to be activated? Keep your cursor in a blank cell. Going to be view. What are the options we deactivated? If you remember in the view tab, grid lines, formula bar, headings in the show group, right? Yes, people, all these things are activated. Now, if you want to restore your ribbon tab also, Control F1, as we discussed already. So this is how we have understood in Pivot 11 how to work around with our dashboards. Now, I'll tell you one thing. Please stay focused on my screen. Sometimes some people will object with this kind of dashboards. And what is their objection point? I'll tell you. Everything is fine. They will be objecting for this section, like the pivot table, what you have created. Some people, they will not like it. They will say, Prabhas, everything is really so nice, but this pivot table numbers is really boring. So just remove all these things. Rest of things are fine. Now, in that case, how to manage? Because I cannot remove pivot table. This is my core. Based on pivot only, all these things are working. These are connected to my pivot table only. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So how to remove the same? I cannot remove that. But in that case, how to manage the show? I'll tell you. Don't do in front of the audience anything. If they are demanding, if you are connected to a projector, please come out of your display, work in your system. What you need to do not spend time for recreating the same also. Take this chart, cover your pivot data like this, and extend the chart like this. Okay, so nobody will be knowing that how many tables you are connected with over here, even though more than one also, everything is covered. Now, any point of time, suppose my boss wants to see, Prabhas, show me the status of Thule Motors customer, Thule Motors. This is what the status of Thule Motors. If he asks me, Thule Motors, I want to know in Australia, how is the business? So I'll go to Australia as one of the region. This is what Thule Motors business. So everything on your fingertips happening. So nobody will be knowing that beneath this chart, there is a data also there, pivot table called, right? So this is how manage your show. Do not spend time over there, or do not or do not buy time and keep people waiting also. And don't do in front of the screen, anybody. This is your personal things, your workings, you should manage with yourself. All right. Hope it is clear.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
once we have done with this, let's go for our pivot table number 10. Right click on pivot 10 sheet name. Move or copy. Create a copy. Checkbox you can activate and click OK. So one more pivot turns up, you can rename the same as pivot table number 12. So if you click on the pivot table, right side this field box is missing, you can always bring it on. Simple right click on pivot, show field list. You got your pivot ready. So as I told you, remove the unwanted fields. How to remove? Can somebody recall that? I told you.
Control what is it? Mine.
No,
okay.
The
value.
track the value.
Right.
Column.
Sums.
Yes.
Value, yeah.
That columns we have a sigma values one option. That field alone you remove and automatically value area will be cleaned. And again, deactivate month also. Now, whatever the first pivot table we had created, please prepare that. What is that? Product description in the rows, sales USD in the value area, and bring the year, not the years, in the columns.
Prabhas, I
Yeah.
need to drop off the call.
Yeah.
There is some urgent work.
No problem. You'll be getting the recordings. Yeah. You can follow that, practice well. No problem.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So now, once we have done with this over here, what else we can do with regard to pivot? Let's have a discussion. See, since afternoon, you would see that we could realize also that each and every worksheet we have got an individual pivot table around 11 we have created, correct? Each and every worksheet, there is a individual or unique pivot table we had created, correct? Do you agree?
Yes.
Now, what if I have got multiple pivot tables? What if I have got more than one pivot table? In one interface itself, in one worksheet itself, how to present the information, how to play around with the data, or how to work around with multiple pivot table, we are going to see that now in this sheet. Okay, so We have got one pivot is ready already. Fine. So keeping the cursor in that pivot, select the data, Control A, copy that, Control C, leaving one or two rows down, paste it. Leaving one or two rows down, paste it. So now, though we copied and pasted, but technically these are two different pivot table. Yes, two different pivot table options. But I mean, the information is same, but technically these are two pivot tables. How? I'll tell you. I have already told you in the first pivot table itself. Each and every pivot table, they have a unique name. So though we copied or pasted, now these are two different pivot table. How? I'll show a small proof. Just see it on my screen. I will keep my cursor in the first pivot table. I will go for right click upon the same. From the bottom, second option, pivot table options. If I go, can you see a dialog box appears, and is it showing a pivot table name over here?
Yes.
Now this is for me, it is showing pivot 1. Okay, no problem. Now I'll go and do the same check in the below pivot table. Do you see it is showing a different name or it's the same name?
Different name.
Right. So though we have copied or pasted, now we got a proof that these are two different pivot tables, correct? Now,
yeah,
there is no point having both the pivot tables same information, right? Something different. Let's go. So keep your cursor below pivot table, and this is showing product description. So let's have one thing. The first pivot table should contain product wise last 3 years revenue data. Below pivot table, deactivate product and take customer to the row area. And to make it bit different, change the little bit colorful patterns also if you wish. So now both the pivot tables is having two different pivot table, two different information, and it is on the screen. Please confirm you got these things ready.
yes.
Yes, friends, how about others? Now this pivot table fields dialog box is no longer required. You can just close this. Now, first pivot table, keep your cursor, analyze or pivot table analyze. 10 minutes back, we discussed a pivot chart option is there to create a chart out of a pivot table. Go for it. And click OK. No need to do any changes. Once your chart is ready, leave some space from the table to the chart and extend the chart like this. Similarly, go to below pivot table, analyze or pivot table analyze, pivot chart. Click OK. There also, leave some space from the data, create the chart, extend.
Yes.
Now, once you are ready with all these things over here, go to the first pivot table and keep your cursor. There you go to your pivot table analyze or analyze button. And we have discussed there's an option called insert slicer. Insert slicer. Go for it. Then suppose I want to see the region wise data. I have selected a region slicer. Regions checkbox to be on. Region checkbox is supposed to be on. So we have made it. Now click OK. So you'll be having a slicer is on, and that you can keep it between the pivot table and pivot chart and slightly enhance the height like this. Now, if you want to do the changes, colorful changes and all those things, you know how to do that. So I no need to repeat it, but if you wish, you can do it, not a problem. So please confirm you got your slicers also ready.
Yes.
Now, once you have it, just kind of look at my screen. When I go and operate with the slicer, it is giving impact only to the first pivot table. Can you see that? Right?
Yeah.
So it is not giving impact to my second one. All right, no issues. So let's do one thing. On the first pivot table, keep your cursor any of the grand total cell, right click, go for sort largest to smallest. Again, the below pivot table, do the same thing. Right click on any of the cell of grand total column, sort largest to smallest. Then take your mouse pointer to the slicer name. Take your mouse pointer to the slicer name and right click upon the same. So you'll be getting this kind of menu option. If you go for right click exactly on the name, you'll be getting this kind of option. Report connections. Is it there? Check it out, please.
Yeah.
If you click that, it will show you a dialog box where exactly the pivot table which is connected to your slicer, that checkbox alone is activated. Now, exactly below to that, whatever pivot table checkbox is not on, you can also see. So that checkbox you need to activate now and click OK and see the beauty now. Whenever you go and operate any country's data, suppose you want to see what is the status in Russia. So I can go and click Russia. This is what the status. So these are the products in Russia 2016 only sold, and these are the customers to whom we have sold the product in Russia. If I want to see the data from Argentina, so I click on Argentina, this is what the status of Argentina. If I want to see UK, this is what the status of UK. If I want to see Africa, this is the status of Africa. Can you see? On a click of button, both the situation is changing, both the information is showing on the screen. So this is how whenever you want to showcase multiple information in one Excel worksheet or screen, you can play around, connect with your slicer, and you can operate. So people will love to see such kind of things, trust me. So this is it from our pivot table number 12 story. Any doubt, any queries, people?
No.
Prabhas, I'm
Yeah.
having issues. I tried to hover the mouse over the region name and it did not show up the options.
No, it's not hovering the mouse. You have to right click on region name.
I'm trying to do that. Hold
Okay.
on 1 second. Still no.
Okay, share your screen, please.
Sure. This one. I go to region and then right click, it's showing me this.
Yeah, report connections. You have to go for that.
Okay.
Then you have to scroll down. No, don't do that. No need to go so much down. You go to the button in the bottom side, bottom side. Don't hold that button. Yeah, there you go and slowly go scroll. Huh. Can you see one pivot is already selected? It is showing the checkbox.
Yes.
Go to the below one. Go to the below one and also select. Just exactly below. Yeah. And click OK. Now you go and operate. Just click any of the country name. Can you see both the slices is changing now?
Yes, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, friends. So any doubt or queries for the day? Anybody? So this is it from our day 3 side. And only taking the live data, you have to keep practicing well about all these techniques, people. And you can definitely make a lot of difference at your workplace. I can give you an assurance. But you have to practice well, because in training, everything seems to be like a fairy tale. Oh, this is there. It's a simple thing. But unless and until you do practice, you'll never get a hang on those topics.
True.
Yeah. And this is not the end of pivot table. I'll tell you what we have discussed is nothing but just a 5% of pivot table.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is just a 5%. Now think about the rest of 95%. So 3.5 hours, around 4 hours, we discussed only 5%. Yes. So there are a lot of things people you have to learn. That is called next. If you want to learn what is the things I should learn, Prabhas, see, there is a technique called power pivot. So whenever time permits, go and learn. I have already shared some website list names in the day 1. So whenever time permits, go to all these websites and learn power pivot. This is one. Next, what we learn once you have done with power pivot, then it's called power query. Once we have done with all these things, next what we should learn, Prabhas, you should learn power BI, the business intelligence next level of reporting tool. And what you can do with power BI, why you need to learn power BI, I'll tell you. See, whatever the data we are maintaining in Excel in the front end, the summary table, whatever the data, always it is there in the front end. Now, when it reaches to 1 lakh row items, Excel slows down. You would have seen many times. It takes a lot of time to open the file. If you apply a formula also, it takes a lot of time to execute and save the file. All these problems are happening. And to come over from this problem, Microsoft has designed a very good application called Power BI. In Power BI, what is going to happen? You are going to load your data in the back end, not in the front end. And the entire visualization, the data visualization, everything will be happening in the front end. So that's why you should learn Power BI. I'll show you one Power BI report. If you have another 2 minutes, I'll be showing you a report over here. Just have a look on my screen, please. I mean, it's really a very good tool. You can do a lot of things in Power BI, lot of reports you can analyze, multiple files you can bring it on. You can create a connections between multiple files, and you can showcase your information. You can predict also. You can forecast your data like down the trend after 5 years, where do you stand if this is the thing continuing over here, the same rhythm continues. You can showcase all these things. So I'm going to show you a report. Just watch my screen. No need to do anything on this. It takes time to load. That's the first time I'm doing it. Now, suppose say I'm going to take you through some report, some ready-made report. Let me see. I have something. Okay. See, these are the field buttons, like creating different types of charts and graphs. And what we did like a pivot table, it is almost similar kind of options in pivot table what you're using, but here the buttons are more. That's the only difference. Now see, this is what the front end of Power BI. Can you see anywhere the data is there? Any numbers or any tabular data, anything? No, because the data is being stored in the backend. Here, only thing the visualize, the data is going to be visualized. So in the left side, if you see, this is what the connections of my data. This is my data. The backend it is stored. This is the data. And this is what the live connections of data, multiple files from product to sales factor, like multiple files it is connected, manufacturing informations to sentiments. All this data is connected in the backend. See all this backend. So this is what the front end. Now, any point of time, suppose somebody asks me, Prabhas, can you show me the Western data, like Western region, how is the business performance? I will go and click on this West, and immediately all this data, entire thing related to Western region, it will be showing the difference. Again, if I want to restore, I can click on Western, it is restored. And the color graphics and the visualizers and the different types of charts, if you see, it is completely different from our Excel charts. Now, I'll tell you one more beautiful information. What you can say is the real-time data you can showcase over here. Like say, take an example. I want to know over here, this Natura product, where exactly across the globe I am making my business. I can go and click on my Natura. So immediately those areas alone will be highlighted with the real-time map location, geographical map location. Can you see?
Yeah.
So this is what the beauty. So people will love to see these reports. You can publish into your clouds and across the globe, wherever you are working with. Again, you can open, you can edit, you can share, and you can bring the data from SQL server. You can see many more options are also there. Not only with SQL, you can go for ODBC data. You can go for your other data formats also like SAP success factor. You can bring from R, you can connect with your Python. You can bring the data from Google Studio. So you can bring the data from PDF also. You can do all this. So there are 49 different platforms you can bring your data to Power BI. It's a really a very great tool. And still Microsoft is trying to improve on the same. There are a lot of things. I would suggest if you are going to invest your money for learning from new techniques or new applications, go and spend time and money over here. Don't learn this.
It's Power BI, right?
Yeah, BI.
Okay.
Business.
Yeah. I already informed.
Yeah, business intelligence.
I will be doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I'm just giving an overview that don't stagnate, don't keep yourself confined to the limit of Excel. Okay, understanding 16 hours. Okay, we are done. No, this is just a beginning. But this is the base. If your base is not strong, any other applications you are going to learn, this is also not going to be any of use. So don't invest time for this big data, Hadoop, R, SPS. People commit. You will be become a data scientist. You will be become a data analyst over here. All these things. Unless and until you are a programmer, those courses are not meant for you. People will commit. They will take your money. They will be giving you a bunch of ready-made, recorded, pre-recorded videos, and they will be asking you, please go through this. And on your self-paced learning, you do. That is not going to help you. See, there are a lot of things. Why? How, which one, when, all these WH questions need to be answered. For that, a tutorial is definitely is required, but nobody is there. There are a lot of YouTube channels also you happens to see. A lot of questions are also remain unanswered. People are there to making money. Trust me, they are monetizing their videos on clicks, they get money. But when people are asking queries, I have never seen any of the Microsoft most valued professionals also they reply the queries also. There are so many questions remain pending. People are not answering at all. So they get frustrated. So what is the point? If I'm trying to improve my knowledge in one applications and my queries are remain unanswered, there is no point of learning that. So this is the reason why I would suggest be specific. No need to get overloaded. Only take. Just take time, take some time, give yourself time. What exactly you can digest, learn that, practice well, because practice is very, very essential. All right.
Prabhas, what would be the duration for this Power BI?
Power BI, it is of 16 hours, 4 Sundays.
Sure.
Yeah.
Only Sundays, right?
Yeah, only Sundays. Only Sundays. Timing would be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That is, we have a batch in August. But before that, yes, I would suggest be ready with practice. All those things, whatever tomorrow also we are going to have our day 4. Complete that, then practice well, then join the August program.
I'm joining the August program, Prabhas.
No problem.
Yeah, even I will be joining.
Okay, great. So our trainer will be Mr. Srikanth. Okay, he is a Power BI specialist. So he will be the trainer for Power BI. We have our Excel VBA also. Mr. Amardeep will be the trainer for Excel VBA. So we have our trainers. But we would always recommend we'll be giving our first preference to people who have already joined Advanced Excel. And those who are joining for Power BI, we always make a prerequisite. People should have well-versed in pivot table, formula functions, charts and graphs, conditional formatting. If they are not aware, then we do not take them to our Power BI sessions, because those things are very essential to understand the things easily, the concept.
Yeah.
All right, people, no problem. So this is it from our day 3 side.
Thank you.
We'll be meeting the same time. Yeah.
Can you tell me more about the macros and VPA?
Macro VBS, yeah, it is actually the people who are mostly into the MIS reporting, who is dealing with lot of Excel data, and people from different department, they send it across. And your job is more into the MIS kind of role, management information system reporting, that kind of role. Then you need to spend time for the automations, like without.
August, we will have a slot for macro as well.
No, we have, but I would recommend don't go for that. As I told you, yes, it will be helpful. It will be helpful, but don't get overloaded. That's what I'm telling. Since you have planned for BI, just join BI, learn it. Once you be thorough with BI, you can learn Excel VBA. Not a problem.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Pravas.
Welcome. Take care, people. See you tomorrow same time. Please log in to meeting room before 5 minutes so that we can join exactly and start the training at 2 p.m.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe.